the LAX, LA Sports Mega Block. Of course, powered every day by LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, LA.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
I think this is the only time where I actually can do a golf clap since we're at a golf event.
We are at a golf event. We are here on the west side of town. We are at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. We are right outside the clubhouse here at the Wilshire Country Club. The LPGA is in Los Angeles, and they got an event going on. We're going to be talking a lot about that today. It's a busy weekend.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
Al.
Yeah,
We've got the
NFL
NFL draft tonight. The Rams actually have a pick. I have not, you know me in the Rams, right?
Yep.
You know how invested I am in the Rams, how much of a Rams fan I am. I've worked on the Rams pre, half, and post since they've returned to Los Angeles.
Sure.
The Rams are my team. They've never had draft picks since I've been working with them, or a first-round draft pick, I should say, or at least
That's
they've never.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
This is the first time.
Is there another team that's been this long of a streak without a first-round pick?
I don't know,
okay.
But I would imagine that if
no.
there is, probably not, and certainly not a whole bunch of them. So we got the NFL draft tonight. The Rams have a pick. The Dodgers got 20 hits last night. Shohei Ohtani had 3 doubles.
No, he's struggling.
He leads the league in OPS. He leads the league in slug. He leads the league in hits. He leads the league in batting average. And hopefully at some point he gets hot.
Clearly in a slump.
Hopefully he gets hot at some point because, obviously they're not getting what they paid for at this point. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Lakers season is basically hanging in the balance tonight. Go down 3-0. Look, I know we talked a lot about it, that going down 2-0 was the thing that you were trying to avoid, but tonight's the night.
Tonight's the night. We'll see what happens in that regard. I thought some interesting quotes. We'll get into it. But Darvin Ham got a chance to respond to what AD said, so everything looking just beautiful going into game 2.
Yeah, beautiful, I guess, is subjective. Roars to you, M.
Roar.
I'm with you.
I
There is a little bit of like,
I'm
with you on that. Now nobody's up on the 18th.
No,
we're right
so,
from the 18th.
Okay, to kind of paint the picture for people, we are 30 yards from the 18th tee.
Yep.
Literally, we're 30 yards away. So if all of a sudden we start talking like this, it's because there's somebody on the 18th tee,
there's a professional.
and we're doing that. So you, too, have probably already noticed how in my element I am when we come to these sorts of things.
Yeah.
I love this so much. It's impossible for me not to enjoy being at a golf course, watching the world's very best players do their thing. I love this. So if I got to smile all day, you know why.
I'll take it a step further. You also have a thing. You did this when we were at the Riv as well.
Uh-huh.
But you have a very hey, come with me. Let me show you around. Did you get your badge yet? I got you. Like you were.
You know what it is, Al?
No.
You're totally right.
I 100% start tagging along. Like okay.
I was excited to get Emily her credential and coffee. I was excited to get you your credential and coffee.
Introducing me
You're
to
the
people.
Mayor.
I'm basically a member at Wilshire Country Club at this point. That I'm I'm so incredibly thirsty to belong to something like this that even if I get to do it for an afternoon, I want to really lean into it.
I want to.
It's
you're trying it on. You're trying it out.
Now,
and
I feel like it fits pretty well. I feel like I wear it well.
If they send you a bill, what do you do then?
Wrong. That wasn't me. I don't know this. What?
No habla.
Yeah, something.
There's anything you could do.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of golf today. Emily, is this first golf event you've ever been to?
A first golf, like professional golf event that I've been to, because I've been to our Black Gold golf tournament, so I've been at golf courses.
That's not exactly professional. We're
it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I don't know if these professional women have a 12-pack of Coors Light in their bag.
Probably not.
Who knows?
Probably not.
Maybe
for after.
Maybe.
No, but it's really cool to see the professionals at work.
It is. It's fantastic. Buenos dias.
Hey, buenos dias. Oh, wait, I got to whisper.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
No, you're okay.
I'm fine.
The 17th
Okay.
green. We're okay. We don't know quite yet, so we're all right.
They're miles from me, so we're good.
Yeah, you're good. You can make as much. If we start like whispering too much, Jorge, then that's the point where maybe you just turn us off and you just host the segment on
He
your
just
own.
starts playing Rage Against the Machine as loud as he can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the 49ers or something.
Yep.
Yeah. What about your 49ers? How are you feeling about them going to the draft?
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're picking, to be honest. I've been busy with my child. The only 49ers thing I got is Gael wearing his little onesies. That's the only 49ers things I've done.
That's when you know you have a good team, is when you have no idea and you don't care about where your draft pick is.
That's exactly right. It's like, we'll figure it out. We don't have to worry about it today. We've got our quarterback. We've got our wide receiver. We've got our running back. We've got our offensive line. We've got Fred Warner.
Front office.
We've got guys that know what they're doing. So, maybe he's not the right team to ask. And, of course, Slee, your Chargers, they're picking is it fifth, right?
Slee's Chargers.
That's weird. That was interesting.
I like it.
That was interesting.
Because sometimes I can pimp you, and I know it really doesn't land, and it kind of bothers me, but I know that lands. Like, I know that it bothers you, so it pleases me.
Cody's Chargers. Now, if you said Cody's Chargers, that one's on brand.
Yeah, but see, he actually is
a Chargers
so
fan.
that's why
right.
I think that he is a Charger fan. That's just bad decision making. That's not, that's just him being a bad.
I think the Chargers should donate their number 5 pick. They should donate it, not trade it, just donate it. Give it to anybody who wants it.
Maybe that's how it'll go. But there's a million things going on today, and we're going to get to as many of them as we can. It could happen today too, Slee. We could see an ace because 18th tee, 18th green. It's par 3, 156 yards today, and haven't seen one super close so far, but we've seen a couple that are moderately close. And look, 150 yards for professionals, there's a chance. If all of a sudden we see a hole-in-one and I go running down there to start high-fiving people, you're going to have to take over.
With the whole set. Happen. No, you're taking the whole set with you.
I hopefully will throw my headset off in enough time to go.
Engineer has an
there.
extension cord just letting you go. I will say this. So you said 156 yards.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this out because you got the bunker, two sets. Mm-hmm. Are you trying to get – I'm trying to figure out where's the best way to lay it. Are they trying to lay it on the right side of the flag or on the left side?
Left side.
But left side's got no shot of anything. It's just, okay, now I potentially can two-putt. Or I could putt for
up the hill. You're putting up the hill. If you're on the right side, you're putting down the hill, and that's where all the problems become. And now, so here's what we have to do. Because we are near the 18th tee, there are golfers. See, here's the thing. They're not just playing because it's a nice Thursday morning and, hey, let's go play a little golf.
Sure.
They're playing for a living.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden it's like, hey, those two idiots over there, I'm trying to make a living over here. Will they shut up while they try to hit this shot?
He's talking about Torian Prince in the middle of my shot.
I would I would throw this out there. I do think that of those, there's 3 players, 3 caddies, so there's 6 people on that tee right there.
Yeah.
Somebody probably could drop a play to get Torian Prince a shot. And I don't know if there is somebody on the Laker bench that is doing that. I didn't know
you were going to take my Torian Prince joke and turn it against me.
Well, it didn't turn it against
you. Used it against the entire 19 assistant coaches that are plus.
Turned it against the 19 assistant coaches. And maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they maybe. What? One of the when you watch it of these women, they have their little yardage books and their green books. It's a little notebook. Slope here, don't miss here.
Yep.
Here's the yardage to this bunker. Here's what you got to carry here. If Darvin had one of those books, it'd be empty. If you flipped it open to page 1, it'd have nothing.
Doodles.
It would be like, hope LeBron's got something. Page 2, hope AD's got something.
Keep my hand.
Of books might just have a couple blank pages.
It's
kind of in the blank pages right there.
It's like a journal that he hasn't filled in yet. It's not necessarily a playbook.
By the way, I literally can't argue anything. I can't.
Well,
there's nothing to argue.
You didn't do it. He did it.
No, even if I try to defend it, there's nothing to defend.
What's to defend?
I mean, this is like me defending Taylor Swift. It's like I didn't write it, but I feel like I got to defend it in some ways. It's such a part of my personality.
It's like I so don't want it to be true. But it's so true. There's literally no defense for it.
Here's the problem. Sometimes when something's just bad, you got to lean
into
it. You got to just.
No question.
It's like the bruise, right? You ever get up in the middle of the night and you go to use the bathroom or something, you bang your knee on the bedpost as you're going by, and you got the bruise for a couple of days. You keep pushing on it. It's like, that doesn't feel very good. It's like a reminder of how you messed up, and that's kind of where the leg. They keep pushing the Darvin bruise.
I don't want to go off on a tangent, but how is not everything have some type of cushion on it in the middle of the night. Everything. I'm talking about everything.
Baby-proof it for adults?
Literally everything.
You baby-proof, like when you get that kid and he starts, they call it cruising, I think, or furniture surfing, where they can't quite stand up, so they hold on to everything as they move along. Well, they fall a lot.
Of course.
And they hit their head and their knee and they cry. And so you put like the pool noodles around the edge of the coffee table, soft corners.
Or you lock things in, lock up the cabinets.
Yes.
So also could use this for adults.
I want to
walk into cabinets at night.
I want to walk into a bubble to get into the restroom, take off the bubble, use the restroom, and get back.
You could use like one of those American Gladiator spheres and just roll yourself to the restroom along the way. We talked about it. I know they're down 2-0 to beat the best team in the league, or at least one of the best teams in the league, 4 out of 5, a team that's beaten you 10 in a row. It's all stacked together. But, Slee, what if I told you that I have a silver lining? What if I told you that there is something that you can at least for the next several hours before the game starts, and maybe even early in the game, kind of hang your hat on? Would you believe me?
I would tell you you're lying.
I'm not
Positive,
lying.
Trav?
I have
I would tell you you're lying.
No, hey, look, I understand that I'm not soup, but I'm more positive than I have been in the past.
I think it's the golf course rubbing off on you.
Could be.
But even if you're more positive than you usually have,
it's still mostly negative.
I don't think the Lakers have given you much to be positive about. So that's a very challenging combo.
Not much, but some. Here, you ready for it? Want me to lay it on you?
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's pretty simple, but it's not totally out of left field. Of the 10 consecutive times that they've lost, almost none of them have been blown out. Very, very few of them have even been moderately lopsided. They've all been a bucket here or there. These games have been nip-tuck well into the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. This is not what happened last night in Oklahoma City, where the Thunder just absolutely steamrolled the Pelicans and won by 30. Mm-hmm. That's not what this is. This isn't even where the Nuggets get up by 10 or 12 or 14, and it's 14, it's 12, it's 8, it's 13, it's 9, it's 14. It's not even just sitting in that 8 to 15 range. These are games deep into the fourth quarter. One more shot goes in. One more shot goes out for them.
Sure.
One guy gets in foul trouble. One guy has a little bit of a bad night. And look, this may be where you want to hang your hat, Laker fans. One bad call that goes your way.
Sure.
These are the sorts of one or two of those. Now, you got to play well. You got to do all these other things. But it's not like you're getting smashed game in and game out. You're going to have to catch a break. You're going to have to play really well. But you don't need 30 breaks. You need 1 or 2. That's the silver lining. They've all been close.
You know what's crazy is I remember LeBron's now doing that podcast with J.J. Redick, and he talked about how you got to get lucky sometimes in the playoffs. How can and listen, a lot of this is on the Lakers. It's on their own back, whatever it is. You could say coaching. You could say individual players. You could say AD not touching the ball or wanting the ball. It's not like the Lakers have helped themselves. But is it felt like against the Nuggets there's been a couple things that went the Lakers' way? It really hasn't. Always feels like something goes the Nuggets' way. It's not that the Nuggets haven't earned it. It's not that the Nuggets didn't deserve it. It's not like the Nuggets, they out-execute like crazy in the final couple of minutes. But they're going to need a little luck, too. That luck's going to come into play. And,
it always does.
And that's – and I don't think anybody cares how they get it. They just want to walk away saying to themselves, okay, you finally got one against Denver. Can you build any momentum off of it?
And that's the thing. Once you break through, it's like, oh, that's all it is? And it may be that. I would push back a little bit on they haven't gotten any breaks. The break being D'Angelo Russell did make 7 3-pointers. The break being LeBron James looked like he was 35 years old again, or 30 years old, or 28 years old. The break being Anthony Davis was not just good, but excellent for 3 of the 4 quarters. So I do think that they've gotten some things to go their way. They just need a couple more. We're going to get into all of that. We'll hear some calls from the Laker fans as well. But coming up next, we're going to talk to the media director of the JM Eagle LA Championship. Jeremy Fredman is going to join us right here live at Wilshire Country Club. Al and I are here for the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plaspro. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Are you dealing with a dead battery? If you are, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like their free battery testing and free battery charging. Their free battery testing can help you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you're in need of a fresh charge. And if you happen to need a replacement, they can help you with that as well. It's the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So the next time you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
After
Bawanga Brace at BMO Stadium last Saturday.
Top of the 18, on his right foot, shot, goal!
Denis is heating up. Saturday, old friend Maxime Crepeau comes to town as he brings his new squad to face the black and gold. LAFC versus Portland Timbers in a Western Conference battle at BMO. LAFC pregame starts Saturday night at 7 p.m. on the ESPN LA app. Yen.
We Eagle LA Championship presented by Plast Pro, an LPGA Tour event. We are right here by the 18th tee, right here by the 18th green, Wilshire Country Club. It is a beautiful morning here in Southern California. Right now we are joined by the media director for the tournament, Jeremy Fredman. Jeremy, let me just start with this. Thank you so much for having us out here. This is fantastic.
Guys, we love having you out here and to basically kick off the opening round here at the tournament. It's a beautiful day. It's it's a little overcast, but for golf, this is perfect.
Can I be like super high maintenance golf person here for a second?
Go for it.
You know why I like the overcast?
Yeah,
you can see the ball easier.
Exactly.
you can, as you watch the ball fly through the air. Because I don't want to say I'm old. Emily, stay out of this. Not just that I can track the ball against that gray sky much more than I can against the blue sky. So it's all good. Thank you for rolling in the clouds this morning.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's just start with the business of it all. If people want to come out to the tournament today, tomorrow, over the weekend, how do they do it?
They can. So tickets are on sale on our tournament website, jmeagleLAchampionship.com. There's daily tickets, weekly tickets. We also have hospitality tickets, the Hollywood Club. You see it over there on 18 green. You see the umbrellas, and so we have it's the Hollywood Club Hospitality Suite.
Very nice.
Where you can join. You can see the best views of the par 3 finishing hole. You can have some food, you have some beverages, you can network, and it's going to be a fun scene here on the 18th hole.
That's one of the first things they told me. They said, Al, you can't go in that area over there.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, when they don't call me Travis, they call me, can I get into the hospitality suite guy? That's kind of my jam. So I got my eyes over there.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about, I know you guys are partnering with the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank and potential for free admission for today. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this tournament has been here at Wilshire Country Club since 2018. We've had a partnership with the LA Regional Food Bank every year. So anybody who comes out today that brings canned goods to admission will get complimentary admission for the tournament. And so what we do is we gather all those canned goods at admission, and then following the tournament, we get a small truck and we go over to the LA Food Bank and we make a donation. It's a cool,
amazing.
It's a cool partnership, and you guys know how important the LA Food Bank is here, right? And kind of what they do for families and such. So it's just kind of it's a small way for us to pay it forward and pay it back with the tournament. It's a simple thing for fans to do, to bring out canned goods and get free admission here to come to the tournament today. Jeremy
Fredman is the media director of the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. Let's talk a little bit about how you make a splash in LA, right? This is the entertainment capital of the world. There always is something going on in town. And it's, trying to say, hey, come on out to our event. A good way to do it is have 17 of the top 25 ranked players in the world. That's a good start.
100%. Yeah. And it's and also it's just where we are, right? Yeah. I mean, this is there's a number of golf clubs and country clubs around here, right?
Sure.
Like the U.S. Open was over at LA Country Club last year. The PGA Tour hosts that at the Genesis of Riviera. But there's not another tournament on any tour that says you're in the heart of Hollywood. Right, and this one is in the heart of Hollywood. That's why our hashtag is LPGA Goes Hollywood. And the players, they love this course. It is it was in 1919. It was designed, and it's just a unique property, right? It's kind of a smaller condensed property compared to LACC and Riviera, where it's a lot more wide open. And the players just they enjoy the atmosphere. And they enjoy seeing, you got the Hollywood Hills, and when you're on,
it's beautiful.
You can see it on 18T. When you're on 9 fairway, which is the highest part of the course, you're teeing off, or you're hitting your second shot on number 9, and you see the Hollywood Hill, or you see the Hollywood sign in the background. Yeah. It's just really cool. And there's here in LA, you're exactly right. You guys are here, you guys do the show here, and there's always something going on, right? And that's something that we try to do to. All right, what are some of the things that we can do to kind of break through the clutter, right? Because you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, you got all of that.
Not so much the Clippers, mostly the Lakers.
Well, the
right?
Lakers, right? you got the Kings, you got the Dodge, you got the Dodgers, you've got Anaheim Ducks, all of that going on out here. And Travis, you know this because you're the resident golf guru of the bunch here. Watching the LPGA Tour and watching these players, it's really unique because there's not a whole lot of sports where you can kind of get right up close and see how they're doing.
I said it to Al when we were standing over here a second ago. We're standing by the 18th tee, and the players are coming through, and they're 10 feet away from you.
Yep.
And you don't get 10 feet from Shohei Ohtani. You don't get 10 feet from Anthony Davis. It's just, unless you're sitting where Jack Nicholson sits, and, not many people get to do that.
Right.
This is an opportunity to get right up next to the very best players in the world.
Right, and also on the LPGA Tour, which is what we hear a lot at the different tournaments that we do. A lot of the players, when they watch them swing, they can take so Jessica Korda or Brooke Henderson or something like, just hit a swing like this. All right, I want to replicate that.
Yep.
It's kind of harder to do that with PGA Tour players because they hit it a country mile.
It's
right?
impossible.
And us that play on the weekends, we try want to hit it that far, but we can't. Right. So it's out here. It's kind of a good comparison. I was like, okay, I hit a drive about similar to like that, and they can kind of, as they're walking around, they can kind of learn things and take to their own games.
Jeremy Fredman taking some time here to join us on the Travis and Sliwa Show. Curious, and I know you were just starting to explain to me for listeners that are out there, the 14th hole.
Yep.
Serve Pro Heroes, is that the exact title there?
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit what's happening
there?
Yeah,
it's on the 14th hole. We have a hospitality suite out there called the Serve Pro Hero Outpost. Serve Pro is they're a tremendous partner of both the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour. They do a lot of work around the country on just helping homes and just helping. I live in Florida, so I've been through a couple of hurricanes recently, and Serve Pro helped me with that on that too. So what Serve Pro does, both on the LPGA Tour and the PGA Tour, it's called the Serve Pro Hero Outpost, and all military, current, reserved, veteran, and first responders get complimentary admission for the entire week, and that Serve Pro Hero Outpost is their hospitality. So we give them complimentary hospitality to where they can just enjoy, where our heroes can kind of enjoy the tournament as a small thank you, both from us and from Serve Pro.
Jeremy Fredman is the media director of the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. And there's kind of a moment, I think, in my opinion, Jeremy, that's taking place in women's sports and women's athletics, and it's led, quite frankly, by Caitlin Clark and how she's kind of grabbed everybody's attention over the last couple of weeks and months and everything that she's done. Is there a way for the LPGA Tour to kind of, I don't want to say hitch their wagon to Caitlin Clark because they're doing their own thing, but to kind of get some of that enthusiasm for women's sports directed at the LPGA Tour?
Yes, and I think that is currently trending in the current world number one player, Nelly Korda.
Mm-hmm.
She last week she won the Chevron Championship in Houston for her fifth straight LPGA win.
Tying record.
Tied a record with Annika Sorenstam and Nancy Lopez. She originally was scheduled to play here this week. She unfortunately withdrew. She's exhausted. We understand that.
Understandably.
But she would be going for the all-time record, right? And what Caitlin Clark is doing with women's basketball, what she was doing at Iowa, and how that's being transferred over to the WNBA, and what Nelly Korda is doing here, it's average. I would say average Joe weekend golf fans are starting to say, "Oh, so Nelly Korda is doing this." Nelly Korda's won how many? So it's right. So it's starting to trend there. And I think that's, one of the big things for the LPGA Tour, that what we try to do at our tournaments, and also the LPGA Tour as a whole, is try to really tell the stories of these players, right? And that's what we all do in the media, right? We try to tell the stories of the players, but they also have to, kind of perform at a consistent level, and it's hard out here, right? Because everybody's trying to compete against each other. But when you got somebody like Nelly, she's a recognizable name. For the most part, right? And what she's doing, people are taking notice, and that's also on a bigger picture with this tournament itself. That's what the title and presenting sponsor of this tournament are trying to do. They're Walter and Shirley Wang, who they're the title sponsor of JM Eagle and Plus Pro. They're golf fans.
Yeah,
that's what they said. They're just pure golf fans, and they want to help elevate women's sports. They want to help elevate women's golf, and they want to do it in a way that, being humble about it, but they also want to have other tournaments to see, hey, look what we're doing. Let's all boats rises and let's help with that, right? They came on last year as the new title and presenting sponsor of this tournament. They doubled the purse from 1.5 to 3 million. This year, the purse has increased from 3 million to 3.75 million.
Wow!
So the winner is getting $562,500, and it's the highest purse on the LPGA Tour outside of the majors and the CME Group Tour Championship at the end of the year. So it's like I said, it's an all boats rises thing.
Yep.
I think the LPGA Tour is definitely trending in the right direction, and I think, with tournaments like this, especially in big media markets like this, this is like with you guys being out here, right? With helping to like really spread awareness on how great these players are and how great this tour is. And it's the one of the bigger things here is we want fans to come see it.
Sure.
Right. Once you come see it,
you're gonna like it.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna like it,
right?
Yeah. It's a great golf course. It's a great event. There's big money at stake. The best players in the world are here. It's just it's a pleasure to be here. That's Jeremy Freeman. He is the media director of the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. If you'd like to come out, here's where you go to get your tickets: jmeaglelachampionship.com. Jeremy, thanks so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all having me. Appreciate having me on. Appreciate you being out here.
You got it, for sure. All right, Slee, when we come back, we're going to get into the Lakers and how they extend this thing, what needs to go right, and quite frankly, what needs to go wrong on the other side a little bit as well. It's all coming up. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right. So we got, and I know we do this all the time, Trav. We always talk. We sit in the studio, and Pizza Hut just comes and gets delivered to us. We don't have to do anything. I mean, that's one of the great things with our partnership with Pizza Hut. But now I want everybody else to capitalize on this as well. Here's how you got to capitalize. Do you know right now you can get any medium pizza for just $12? I'm going to say it again. Any medium pizza from Pizza Hut right now, just $12. All you got to do is this. Any of your favorite toppings, by the way. They're all just $12. Any recipe, any toppings, any medium for $12. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com.
Play live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right, we are here on the west side of town. We are at Wilshire Country Club, Slee. Do you know how much I like saying that?
We should just go country club to country club moving forward.
We could be the official show of Country Club Golf.
Clubs.
That would be a nice way to do it. Of course, we're here for the JM Eagle LA Championship, presented by Plus Pro and LPGA event right here in Los Angeles. It is a beautiful day. If you're looking to come out and do something this weekend, JM Eagle LA Championship.com is where you can find your tickets.
All right, I'm going to hit on something because we talked a lot about it. After Lakers lost to the Denver Nuggets, they lose Game 2. And you and I talked about all these different stretches for the Lakers, specifically in that third quarter and the fourth quarter as well. It's like, what are they doing? Do they have any idea what's going on? Is there any plan? And AD after the game said this. He said, we have stretches where we just don't know what we're doing on both ends of the floor.
Who do you think he meant by that?
I think he meant
I mean, just off the top of your head, is there somebody that jumps into your mind?
So I'll ask you this question because I'm not saying that this doesn't happen, but I can't remember a time that a player of that magnitude in a post-game show is calling out the coach and the coaching staff saying, I don't know what the hell we were doing for X amount of time. I'll read the quote again. He said, we have stretches where we just don't know what we're doing on both sides of the floor.
Imagine what he was saying in private.
Sure.
Like if he said that in public.
Sure.
You're so right about that.
So Darvin talks first, post-game, right? And then Anthony Davis comes after. So yesterday was the first time the local reporters got a chance to ask, hey, Darvin, what did you make of Anthony Davis's quote? So I'm going to read you what he said. He said, I just think sometimes when plays don't turn on the way you think they should, then the frustration sets in a little bit. But I don't think it's us not being organized. I think I have incredibly talented coaches all along my staff. We pride ourselves, whether it's practice, shoot-around film session, a game, or whatever. We pride ourselves on being highly efficient and organized. I just chalk that up to being frustrated. It's an emotional game, the way it ended, and all of that. But I'll agree to disagree on that one. I guess maybe I thought, all right, when that quote comes back and Darvin Ham gets to address it, he'll say something. Guys, I talked to AD, frustrated. We got no. Of course we know what we're doing. He might have been confused on this play or that play, but of course not. I think the thing that sticks out to me, well, I'll agree to disagree on that one. He can agree to disagree with me. He could agree to disagree with you. I didn't say it. I didn't say you guys look confused out there. Even if I did, it doesn't matter what I think. It's Anthony Davis saying that.
It's your best player or your second best player.
It's like your second best player.
One
He's
of your guys.
saying it to everybody else.
Yeah.
I'll agree to disagree on that one. That doesn't really do anything for me. It sounds like they still have a difference in opinion, and we're about to walk into Game 3 where you're already down 0-2 against the defending champs.
So what's it's in vino veritas, right? In wine, there's truth. That when you have a couple of drinks, you're going to start telling people what you really think, right? Well, in frustration veritas, right? That if Anthony, he's frustrated, right? And you know what he did? He told the truth. Because he was frustrated, because he was upset, because he was angry, because he was annoyed, whatever the emotion was, he didn't just make it up. What the simple fact that it got thrown into the universe is a problem.
You had about a half hour after the game ended until he talked too. So
sure.
Even with that, there was a little settling in, and he was still like, "No, I'm still throwing this out there."
This Anthony Davis, there's a lot of things you can say about Anthony Davis that we could be critical about, but I don't think Anthony Davis is anything other than a pretty smart guy. I don't think Anthony Davis is anything other than a pretty thoughtful guy. Anthony Davis is not a bomb chucker.
He's also been with good coaches and bad coaches.
Yeah, but can I give you an example you just said? How many times does Anthony Davis – we get frustrated about AD, and AD will say, guys, that's on me. I know I got to be better. I got to do this. And then he comes out in the next – my point is AD's not saying things just to say
He's
it.
not a perpetual complainer. He's not always pointing outward. He's not a guy that every time something goes wrong, it's his fault. It was his fault. That's not what he does. That who it came from and what he said is incredible. And you can't just go agree to disagree. No. One of the best players on your team said you guys don't know what you're doing. That you can't just go, eh.
And by the way, watching the game, everybody said they don't know what they're doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, when you say agree to disagree, you're in disagreement. And so you're living in that space of disagreement with one of your best players in a way that's probably not that healthy.
It didn't sound like anything got solved.
Nothing. Well, you can't solve the unsolvable. And the unsolvable part of this is they have a coach who is not impacting the game in a positive way. They have a coach that at best is benign, right? That at best he's somebody, and we got people on the 18th tee, so I got to put my inner Jim Nance on.
No, they said you're fine if we're talking about Lakers.
I got to come down a little bit. But what we're talking about is the coach is being openly questioned, not by Alan Sliwa or Trav or a newspaper
media member.
It's not even Charles Barkley on TNT. It's not Kenny the Jet or Shaq or any of these things who's getting paid to find the thing to say that thing right there stinks. It's one of his own players. And
the caliber of player, not that that's everything, but whether it was Taurean Prince, if it was Taurean Prince, I would say, okay,
different.
That's not a good look.
It's bad, but
AD.
it's different. The only thing that would be worse is LeBron.
Yeah,
that's it, because LeBron is LeBron.
And again, in private, they probably shared all the thoughts that they had with them. And also, it's one of those things where if someone doesn't say anything to you, it's probably even more indicative. If they don't get mad, it means they don't trust you. They've already written you off. And so maybe there's a situation in which LeBron didn't even talk to him afterwards because he knew that it wasn't even going to get through.
Well, LeBron was too busy complaining about the referees to talk about Darvin Ham. It's just they're in a mode that is deeply unproductive. They're in a mode where you're talking about the coach has confused on both ends of the court. That's player one. You're talking about LeBron James is bothered by the officiating. D'Angelo Russell is bothered by the officiating. That this is just not what you do to get ready to go play the best team in your draw. You've lost 10 in a row. Yeah, you're in 0-2. You've lost 10 in a row. Their second best guy just kind of got hot all of a sudden. That's probably going to carry over. You got the best player in the world on the other team. This is just representative of where they are globally. And I know that they can still pull this thing out, at least theoretically, but very, very soon you're going to have a conversation about what's coming next.
Can I ask you, and I think you're right, and that's going to happen, and that could be happening. We could be talking about that in 24 hours. Not 24 hours. We could be saying, guys are down 0-3, stop. Yeah. Like, it's just Lakers probably won't even travel back to Denver. It could end in L.A. again. But I think this is the interesting part. I'm so intrigued by the first 12 minutes of this game. I'm so intrigued by the first quarter of this game because one of two things I think are going to happen. Either the Lakers are going to show there's some fight. Let's forget about the first two games. There's nothing we could do about it. Even if they don't believe they can win this series, let's just get one freaking game and figure it out. I think the first 12 minutes, from a psyche standpoint, will tell a little bit of that story.
But they were ahead in the first quarter
So here's what I was going to say. But here's another thing that can happen. That the Denver Nuggets actually start a game good. That they play the first 12 minutes to how the Denver Nuggets are accustomed to playing. And is there a little bit of I don't see that Laker fight. Like, I'm curious about, is there fight tonight? Or is there – the Lakers have been, and I've used this word before, I feel like there are definitely times where they're front runners. When things are going good, high-fiving, extra passes, defense all over the place. When it's not going good, go look at their body language. What if it's not going good in the first 12 minutes? What does that game look like the rest of the way?
I think there's only bad things that can happen early, right? Because to M's point, and I was going to say something that short of them being up by 40 at the half – I'm like, I'm going to need to see what happens.
You're
next.
right. They were up 12 and 20.
That's what I mean. Like, you're up 12 at the end of the first quarter. Yeah, I don't care. Hey, you're up 18 at the end of the half. Okay, I don't care.
You're up there 20 in the fourth.
You're up 12 points going into the fourth quarter. So what?
What if they're down 12 at the end of the first quarter?
Then it's over. That's what I mean. There's only bad things that can happen here because
I don't think Denver's played that well.
Nor do I. But all 10. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. All 10 of these games, I shouldn't say all 10, but the vast majority of these 10s, and certainly of the 6 playoff games that we've seen them play over the last couple of years, it's been a game with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. There was never a point where you're like, this one's over. No. But by the time we got to the end, Denver, out-executes, outperforms, out-coaches, out-everything. The Lakers.
They don't make mistakes at the end.
And so when the Lakers have been really good in the beginning, it's the fourth quarter, and even more specifically, it's like the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter that feels like has decided all these games.
I'm in the middle of watching a great
somebody,
shot.
Somebody liked that. I heard a lot of soft golf applause.
I thought for a second
there,
I was like, did Trav just say something? Did somebody hear something Trav said?
I think we can
somebody
all agree.
really liked your point.
I think we can all agree that the vast majority of the people that are here at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plastpro, they're here to hear my Laker takes, Slee. They're here.
I mean, that's why Tracy's here. We saw Tracy walk by earlier.
Tracy was fired
How
up.
awesome would it be if they have no idea what's going on? They're just coming over here.
Why not? Why not? Hey, did you see Foo coming up next? It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
After a Bawanga brace at BMO Stadium last Saturday.
Top of the 18, on his right foot, shot, goal!
Denis is heating up. Saturday, old friend Maxime Crepeau comes to town as he brings his new squad to face the black and gold. LAFC versus Portland Timbers in a Western Conference battle at BMO. LAFC pregame starts Saturday night at 7 p.m. on the ESPN LA app.
Do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Did you see what I see? Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
So, hey, did you happen to...
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Hey, Al, did you see that the hospitality tent is about 150 yards from where we're standing right now, and that's where all the fun is going to be happening as the round takes place here at the JM Eagle LA Championship?
Did see it. Also saw a couple security guards just look at me and give me that, not happening, brother.
I'm looked you up and down.
Not happening now.
Gave Sleep the up down and said, nope, not happening. What do you got for us,
my
Jorge?
net worth?
All right, fools. Travis, I know you're a Simpsons fan, and did you see that this past Sunday they killed a long-time character?
No, I haven't watched this most recent one. Who did they kill?
All right, so
okay, spoiler.
No, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. Who did they kill?
All right, so Matt Selman, a writer for The Simpsons, had hinted at this character's death on Sunday before the show. He posted on X. He pretty much put up a poll. The options for the death for the character that was going to be killed was Homer, Bart, Marge, or Larry the Silent Barfly. What do you think got killed off?
Oh, no, they killed Larry.
Had to be Larry. Had to be Larry.
Okay, so the poll was set up so you know obviously who it is.
Of course. So the poll was set up because, apparently the Simpsons have been, not apparently, but the Simpsons have been around for, 35 seasons?
35 seasons.
Yeah, over 700 episodes. So I guess their rankings weren't doing that good. So after this, it actually worked because the rankings went up 17%. So,
wow.
They know what they're doing. So it got me thinking, what series do you wish, something that you've watched before, wish was a little bit longer than what it lasted, and what character shouldn't have been killed in whatever series other than Simpsons that you've watched?
Yeah, well, so
it's good.
As far as what series I would have liked to have seen gone a little longer, and I know that a lot of people thought that this had a really good ending. It's a little, and some people thought this was not a good ending, but I just loved the show so much I wanted it to keep going. Sure.
Sopranos?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Mad Men. I would have loved to have seen Mad Men. I would have loved to have seen Don Draper go into the 70s. I would have liked to see what his next 3 marriages look like.
I feel like there's always been like a little chatter that they might revisit.
About doing that?
Yeah.
In like the 80s,
like
maybe?
Don Draper in his 60s would be really interesting because he could be a total broken down mess.
But
I would like
to see that.
Would it be
John or would it be a recast? Because I think that rides on it.
Hard to recast Don Draper.
Right.
So
it would be
iconic.
John in a couple years?
Well, John Hamm's in his 50s.
Yeah, I mean it works.
Yeah, I mean he could pull it off. He doesn't
not
look
as old
like
as
he's
you,
in it.
but
It doesn't matter.
I would have taken. Imagine Saved by the Bell. You know how they did the college years. What's after college?
Yeah,
and then just keep going. No, that wouldn't have worked. Sopranos, the one I mentioned. Sopranos. I think there's certain shows. I know they're getting older. I know it could be the kind of the same story over and over again, but if the show's still working, people still like it, if that had an additional couple of seasons, I would not have been against it. Listen, I know there's no proper way to end it. I know sometimes shows, they don't get ruined, but it leaves a certain taste in your mouth if they go too far. But I would have been okay with that.
I don't mind killing an important character as long as it moves the story forward. It's okay.
Yeah. I know this person wasn't "quote unquote" killed, but when Michael Scott leaves the office, it's the void. There's some, and I also think my biggest gripe with Succession is they let go of Logan Roy too early in the season. That show is so heliocentric. Speaking of basketball, it's so surrounded around Logan Roy and what he did. Eventually, he would have to leave because that's the whole
title
name of the
show.
But it's. How do you fill the void when the sun is gone? But honestly, a lot of the shows that I love and that remain lovely in my mind ended perfectly. I think that the Parks and Rec ended well. I think
that was a really good ending.
Yeah, I think 30 Rock ended well. I think a lot of the comedies that I really love ended well. But I could see myself going back and watching a reboot of Parks and Rec or reboot of Abbott Elementary if it keeps the style and cast really well. But it's really hard to do that.
They killed Maud Flanders with a T-shirt gun. I mean, they're at a NASCAR event and they killed her with a T-shirt gun. That's a tough way for
going on here?
It's a tough way for Maude to go out. You got one more for us, Jorge?
Yeah. Some of the other characters that have been killed off has been who's the original Snowball? Like I never knew who that
Snowball
was.
1 was Lisa's cat, and then Snowball 2 I think died in the same episode as Snowball 1, and I think they're currently on Snowball 3. Bleeding Gums Murphy was killed, not killed, died. And a handful of others.
Also, one great
Homer's
movie
mother.
that keeps on, or show that keeps on getting reinvented, Degrassi. I don't know if you guys watched Degrassi.
The only thing I know about Degrassi is Drake was on it.
Yeah, so there was an original one, I think that was early 90s, and then there's another version that was a little later on that I watched. I watched the Next Generation, the second version of it.
The non-Drake one?
No, that's the Drake one.
Oh,
so there was
okay.
one before the Drake one, and they
Okay.
keep like the kids that graduate that end up being like the teachers at the school, but it works. Like they reinvent it, but it's just you make up. It's like basically high school soap opera.
Yeah,
and it works.
I watched
only
90210.
follows Drake. You only follow Drake.
They did the same thing with 90210, where they tried to make Kelly Taylor like a guidance counselor. Huge disaster. By the way, so West Beverly theoretically would have been right around the corner from where we're standing right now, where Brandon and Brenda and Steve Sanders and Kelly Taylor and Andrea Zuckerman, they all went to. We're right in their backyard. This is basically we could publish the Beverly Blaze right here where
Did
we're
they go to
standing.
Hollywood High School?
They went to West Beverly High School.
Oh, okay.
And used
Fancy.
Occidental College as the setting of West Beverly High
That's
School.
so. I mean, so I used to live right next to Occidental.
Yeah.
So Oxy.
Yep.
What's up?
Yep. It's all right here, Slee.
It's ranked one of the most beautiful colleges in the country.
Yeah, and you have to be a super genius to attend school at Oxy. Yeah. Not for us.
No. One of my roommates went to Oxy.
San Diego State.
She's very smart.
It's fine.
That hits.
Look, it worked out mostly. Not maybe a little bit.
Don't loop me in that.
Yeah, yours is a real one. JM Eagle LA Championship. That's where we are right now. We are at Wilshire Country Club. We're having a great day. It's beautiful out here. There is world-class golf being played. We are just by the 18th tee, just by the 18th green, 156-yard par 3 Slee, and I'm calling my shot. We're going to hear a crowd roar go up at some point.
Okay,
That either
I like it.
one's going in or something's going to come really close where people are going to freak out. So we're going to talk more about that. But it's NFL Draft Night tonight. The Rams, for the first time since the Rams have been in Los Angeles, actually have a first-round pick. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. So the Rollo Chevrolet, Slee, it's right there. You can probably see it from where we're standing right now. My high country Silverado from Rollo Chevrolet gloriously pulled into the lot here at Wilshire Country Club, and I got it at Rollo Chevrolet. So if you've been thinking, see those Silverados all over town, I see those other Chevy cars and trucks all over town, I got to go check those out for myself. You got to get into Rollo because they got all the selection. They got the right prices. But what only happens at Rollo is customer service like no one else. 13 years in a row, they have won Dealer of the Year. Think about that's like winning MVP. 13 years in a row, give me a break. And that's because Mike Capozio makes sure that every single person that walks onto that lot is treated like an all-star. So you get what you want at the price you want, and you feel good about it too, and you're going to tell your friends and they're going to tell theirs, and they get to win another Dealer of the Year award. So if you've been thinking about it, going out to Rollo Chevrolet in Fontana, it's right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, you can't miss it. And if you're thinking, Fontana's a little bit out of my range, it's a little bit too far, go online, RotoloChevy.com, ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't know.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
We are out at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro here at Wilshire Country Club. It is this is both a good news and not perfect news situation, Slee. The sun's starting to come out, so it's going to be even more beautiful than it is right now. I had a little trouble tracking that last shot. It's like a little bit of a glare.
Of course you did.
I know.
Real quick. You said that literally right before we went to break, you started talking about Rotolo.
Yeah.
You said you're going to hear people cheering, even if the shot doesn't go in. It's going to be right next to the pin. Maybe a minute and a half later, I just hear everybody, and I didn't even see the ball because I just got there a little bit too late. Probably about 3 feet from the pin.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty
beautiful
good.
Shot.
It is a beautiful shot. People are having a great time. So come on out, jmeagleLAchampionship.com. If you want to go buy your tickets, you can go drop off some canned goods at the Mission, and they'll give you free admission today. If you are a first responder, you can come out as well. They've got a Serve Pro Heroes tent set up for you as well. So come on out and have a great day. There's a lot going on. Not only is the LPGA here in town, not only do the Lakers have a game tonight, we got the Rams have a first-round draft pick for the first time. And so you know which hockey team I root for, right? I'm an Anaheim Ducks guy. Quack. I am a Ducks fan. So I say this with some resignation in my voice.
Okay.
The Kings-Oilers game last night was bananas.
Really?
Yes.
Kings won, right?
They won in
so
overtime.
What happened?
So they had two different two-goal leads, okay, which – not to get too deep, the 2-goal lead, that's the worst lead in hockey. Whatever. I'd rather have a 2-goal lead than a 1-goal lead. Hey, you let your foot off the gas, right? All of this stuff. It was nuts. It was up in Edmonton, and they have the best player in the league in Connor McDavid. He's doing crazy stuff. The Kings blow 2 big leads. They end up winning it in overtime.
Wow.
Their guy, Kopitar, who's been in the league, I think, since 1964.
He's 66, but yeah.
66.
Yep.
He scores the game winner. They tie the series at 1. They're coming back to L.A., and I don't like the Kings, right? The Kings are the number one rival of the Ducks, and it's just like.
But a really good game.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like that was really, really cool.
And speaking of other things that happened yesterday, too, the Celtics and Miami, just the zombie Miami Heat beating the Celtics. I want those two teams to play in perpetuity because I love how angry and scared the Celtics get, because the Celtics fans that I know, the Boston fans that I know, they're just quivering in their boots against Miami.
There was a clip. I was watching the end of that game, probably let's say the second half or so. There's a clip where basically Miami's up, let's call it 7 or 8 for most of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might go down to 4, but then it goes back up to 10. It's just kind of going back and forth. And I think it's Tatum that takes a 3, and this is basically kind of your last gasp, maybe 30, 40 seconds left. Okay, they don't get it, and there's a foul. Literally everyone at the TD Garden, whatever it's called, all they're doing is just showing the crowd just leaving. Everybody just leaving with like 30 seconds left to go.
Yeah, the chant in like the Premier League is there a fire drill? Is there a fire drill? Like, as everyone's leaving.
In my head, I'm like, what amateurs? You should have left at the end of the third.
At the end of the third quarter.
Beat traffic somehow.
I don't understand basketball on a level like I understand some other sports, so walk me through this.
Okay.
Do you think that having a good coach helps the Heat?
That might help. He's the best coach in the NBA.
Do you think that the guy that coaches the Heat without his best player, Jimmy Butler, not being there to beat the number 1 seed overall, do you think that maybe that might help them? You know, I just generally speaking, like organizationally, is having somebody that's competent in that role, is that useful?
By the way, in game 1, losing, getting blown out by God knows how much, like, oh yeah, we'll make the adjustments.
So it does help.
Without Jimmy Butler.
It is helpful.
It does help. So
it is helpful.
If that's true, the opposite would be true. Like if you had a bad coach, it would be not helpful. It would be unhelpful.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, huh?
That can't be right. I'm gonna turn it over in my head a few times because I haven't seen any evidence that having a guy that just stands there and does nothing doesn't help. That's just me. I mean, like I said, I'm not James Naismith. I don't know everything. But
you don't need to be. And by the way, you're not the only one who thinks that. There's also a player on the team that said that postgame.
It's a lot. Rams pick tonight potentially. They are 19th.
As of right now, they are scheduled to pick.
They are scheduled to pick 19.
Have you swayed in any way?
No, I still want them to do what I said yesterday.
But do you think they'll do that, or you? No.
I have. This is not like somebody told me. Like occasionally, I kind of know what may happen for some certain things.
Okay.
This is not one of those times.
It's just blind
This
faith.
is my gut.
Okay.
This is my gut telling me they're going to double down on what they do really well, which is they're going to pick an offensive player. They're going to move up to pick an offensive player.
This is something I saw 22 minutes ago from Diana Rossini. I don't know if you guys saw this yet. So this is from Diana Rossini of The Athletic. She says, the Rams, who haven't picked in the first round since 2016, are calling to get in the top 10.
I'm not surprised at all because there's 3 guys that are in the top 10. If any of these 3 names get called by the Rams or by Roger Goodell tonight, the Los Angeles Rams with the blank pick select, Joe Alt, Notre Dame, awesome. Roma Dunze, Washington, awesome. Brock Bowers, Georgia, awesome. Any of those 3 guys, there are positions of need. They are weapons in Matthew Stafford's, toolbox that he can do. This team will go as far as their offense is going to take them. This team is in a window that is now not defined necessarily by Aaron Donald, but that is defined by Matthew Stafford. What the Rams are really good at is offense. And let's get better at offense because I don't know if there's a player on the defensive side of the ball that's going to go, you know what, the Rams have one of the better defenses in the league. I don't think that's going to happen, so let's get better at offense.
Hypothetically, and I know it is what it is now, Aaron Donald did not retire.
Yeah.
How much
offense.
would that have?
Just
go get more.
Their strength.
So it didn't. So it. The only reason why I'm asking the question is how much of an impact did that sway them to say, all right, like you just said, let's double down at what we're great at.
Yeah.
Why are we going to be, if we're already going to be mediocre, okay, below mediocre on the defensive side, maybe we go put up Matthew Stafford is the franchise right now. Matthew Stafford, their window is Stafford. So why not go try to put up 30 points a game and see if we can outscore these teams?
I think that's how you do it. I think that's where you go. I think that's what makes the most sense because it's kind of look at it like this. Let's take an offense that is an A. Let's make it an A+. You have a defense that, if we're being optimistic, might be a C.
Yeah.
And maybe a C-. I don't know if improving that from a C- to a C or a C to a C+ makes that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas if all of a sudden I get a chance to put up 30 on a regular basis, you're going to win a lot of games. You score 30 points.
And also, if they realize their defense is an issue, then maybe they make some sort of move at the trade. You get someone who is unhappy or a team that is not doing well that we didn't know it wasn't going to do well. Like maybe the Eagles shake loose. Like who knows?
And it's so weird how the tenure of the Rams here in Los Angeles. They've been here for 8 years, right? This is going to be the 9th season coming up. This is the first time since they've been here where we're going through the draft where they have a top pick. And that's how much – keep in mind where this team was in 2016.
Okay.
This is a team that when they came here – and I say this as a Rams fan, but I say it simply as a statement of fact. Now, they were met with almost complete indifference. When they announced that they were coming back, it's like, yeah, whatever. It was not oh, man, they're coming back home.
Sure,
it was,
imagine an NFL franchise going to any other city. What that would be met with.
They were met with indifference, and it was met with a vibe of not just because they had been here before. They've been gone for 22 years. And it was a team that was coming back that had not been good for a while. It was a team that had an uninspiring head coach. It was coming back, and quite frankly, the sports fans in Los Angeles were unfamiliar with Stan Kroenke in a way like you're not quite sure. Like, does he want to win?
Fair.
Does he want to make money? Does he like what are his priorities in this thing?
Both.
And of course, but at least win is the other one. That for many owners, it's just let's make some money.
Sure.
They go into a football stadium that's way too big for what they had in mind at the time. They have this whack uniform combination that they show. Like everything about it was like, what's going on? They don't have a pick. They do have a pick, first pick overall.
Jared Goff,
right?
It's
met with like the guy from Cal. That's the guy you're taking number one over. That guy? Okay. He has a terrible start.
Yeah.
He goes 0-7, and then you hire a guy that no one has ever heard of other than deep cut football people. Fast forward to where we are right now. The goal isn't, hey, are you going to make the playoffs? It's, can you win the Super Bowl again? Can you get back to the Super Bowl again? You have a Hall of Fame potential quarterback. You've created this. It's no more how do you assimilate. You are the football team that's here. The Chargers are still trying to find a way to do that. And now you've done it all without first-round draft picks. You've built the palace that is SoFi Stadium. Everybody's excited to go there. To do that in 8 years?
No, it's unreal.
It's extraordinary.
And I think I don't know if you're in any other market. We've talked about this, just the distractions in L.A. The Dodgers have their base, and it's a very powerful base. The Lakers have their base. It's a very powerful base. You were just talking about the L.A. Kings. They have a very niche, right? I'm a hockey fan. I'm a Kings fan. But what the Rams are trying to do, they're trying to put themselves in the territory of, do you guys have a football team? And I get it. I understand. You got a lot of transplants that come from everywhere.
There are a ton of Raider fans in L.A.
There's a ton of Raider fans. It doesn't even have to be – if it's a Packers-Rams game at SoFi Stadium, there's going to be a lot of Packer fans there. That's just that's what L.A. is. But can you be competitive? Can you have one of the best coaches in the NFL? Can you be entertaining? There's so many things that I think factor into it. I don't know of another story, and I know they're out there. I don't know of another story where you can – change the market and have this much success and also have this much of an imprint in the league like the Rams do in the NFL.
I think it all has to do with how Sean McVay turned this team around in almost nearly an instant.
Wouldn't argue that.
And I think if the Rams had Jeff Fisher for this entire time, I think no one would care because they wouldn't be good.
You're not wrong.
So Sean McVay and getting it, and I looked this up today, so I know we were talking about how the league looked like.
Jeff Fisher's driving around right now. He's like, what the hell?
Catching a stray.
Guys, I've been out for 8 years.
But I can't stress this enough. They showed up with not just a bad team. They went 4-12. They showed up with a boring team. They showed up with a team that had Todd Gurley, one of the most dynamic players in the league at the time, and you're watching and going, yeah, this isn't fun at all. McVay shows up in the next year like, Gurley might win the MVP.
Yeah, he's so young. He's so full of youth. I know we're here at the JM Eagle LA Championship, but Rams go Hollywood. Rams go Hollywood when you get Sean McVay. He brings so much life and energy. He's a new face. He's a fresh face. He comes off, and the other teams that were looking for a coach at the same time were the Bills. Didn't get him. They got Sean McDermott, which is, turns out whatever for them. Denver Broncos, Jacksonville Jaguars, Chargers could have had Sean McVay too, and the Niners. So it was just interesting that the Rams saw in that kid who had not had any head coaching job in the NFL before, and he was like,
well, what happened since then? Everybody either followed what they were trying to do, hiring a really young coach, or took
one of his guys. Yeah. No, I don't want to say it's luck because they hired him, but it was fortunate that they hired him. It was fortunate that they identified him. They were saying, and I remember Eric Davis was part of our broadcast team at that point, and I called him and Kirk both, and they gave me the same response when I said, hey, I don't know anything about Sean McVay other than he's an assistant coach in Washington. What do I know about him? And they both basically said the same thing was, he's going to be a head coach in this league. He's going to be a really good head coach in this league. The only question is he ready to do it right now? Is it too early? And they both said, but if you wait till he's ready, you're probably not going to get him.
Right.
And they did it, and it's worked out, and now they get to take a pick tonight.
In addition to what I mentioned earlier about Diana Rossetti's report, she said that the Rams, who haven't picked in the first round since 2016, are calling to get in the top 10. Jordan Rodriguez quote tweeted this and added this, that in addition to her sources, from what I've gathered so far this morning, Rams are checking prices on a number of different possible moves up into the top 10 and down. To me, staying at 19 would be surprising. So they're exploring everything.
Something's happening.
The 19th pick was the only pick I was fairly certain the Rams wouldn't have. They might have something a lot higher. They might have something a lot lower. But 19 seemed like a place where it was kind of no man's land for them, that they weren't going to get what they needed at that point, that when what you could get at 19, you could get at 42. You could get at 57, that you could move back enough and still find relatively the same quality, talent of player at that point. They're going to move up. They're going to move back. Up's a whole hell of a lot more fun. And I really do think they're going to do it. And if Diana Rossini's saying it, now I feel even better about it because she's pretty plugged in. Jordan Rodriguez saying it, I feel even better about it. She's really plugged in. Speaking of, LPGA goes Hollywood. We are here at Wilshire Country Club. Easy for me to say. JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. We are going to talk more about that tournament. We are going to be joined by none other than David Tucker, the tournament director, scheduled to join us next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN, and you got a chance to win some tickets right now. 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776 for your chance to win a 4-pack of sweet passes to LAFC against Portland. That's coming up on April 27th, 2 nights from right now. 7:30, caller number 7 wins. 877-710-ESPN. Right now, it's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
I got something very cool coming up for you guys here in just a little bit. Somebody sent me something via Twitter, and we're not calling it X yet, right? We're still calling it Twitter, Al? Is that how we're doing?
I only refer to it as X. If it's not X, then I don't.
You don't respond?
Your Zeets, instead of tweets, it's a Zeet.
Is that what people say?
No.
Okay.
They call them posts, but
okay.
I just was being dumb.
I still say tweets. That's what somebody sent me something that got me so fired up that apparently I got somebody else fired up. I didn't even know about it. I don't even want to try to explain it. I want to play it for you guys, so we'll have it
You're an influencer.
Coming up in a little bit. I'm an inspiration is what I am, Emily, at least to
like
one
influencer.
person. I am pretty influential.
You just told me a little bit about it. Yeah. Badass story.
It's pretty cool.
Amazing story.
It's really definitely cool. Pretty cool. We're going to talk with David Tucker, the tournament director of the JM Eagle LA Championship. He's scheduled to join us here in just a couple of minutes. If you're looking for something this weekend and you love golf and you like cool places and you like beautiful spots, Wilshire Country Club is the place for you. JMEagleLAChampionship.com is the place that you can go buy your tickets. So we were talking a little bit about the draft, and I really do think that the Rams may move up. I think that they're going to go off. If they move up, I'd be stunned if they moved up to take an offensive or a defensive player. Mm-hmm. I was talking with Corporate Greg a second. We were texting a little bit. He's like, they're going to take Leatu Latu from UCLA if they move. His projections have been all over the board.
What's the highest that they have him at?
Well, now they have him like inside the top 8 or 9 potentially. They had him outside of the first round not that long ago because he's got a neck thing that some teams are supposedly concerned
worried about, scared
and
about.
So his projections are kind of all over the map. Okay. So we'll see what it is. The one thing that you could absolutely take to the bank right now is that Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 to the Bears.
Yeah,
and he's a fantastic player. He's big enough. He's athletic enough. He's fast enough. He's accurate enough. He's good decision maker. Like everything you saw at Oklahoma and specifically SC leads you to believe
perfect package.
It seems like it. Okay. And so what does that mean? There's like a 50-50 shot he'll be good?
From a quarterback perspective, yes, it is.
I mean, that's kind of where it is.
Well, and I don't know if, we were looking at some of those stats yesterday of, I think wide receiver was the lowest. About 1 in every 4 wide receivers pan out.
Yes.
They're signing a second year or a second contract with the team that drafted them. And
quarterbacks were like
50,
slightly less than 50.
I'd be curious about. I know you're just kind of taking an average here, but I'm curious if that's based. It's the second and third quarterback is less than, but the one that's that's supposed to be the guy if that one pans out.
When it hits to the tune of Peyton Manning. It hits to the tune of
your franchise has changed.
Cam Newton. It hits to the tune of one of those guys that's picked, because most quarterbacks are almost always number 1. I think what do we say, 7 of the last 10 times.
Yeah,
the
7 of 10.
And the only other time it's been a rusher, basically.
Right. It's been so. It's going to be Williams, and there's nothing that you see. Here's what you got to be.
Do you have any hesitation?
Yeah,
in him?
Sure, sure. Just simply because of the math of it all. Like if you just said to me, "What is he missing?" Nothing, because he's the right size. He's fast. He's super accurate. When you watched him play at SC, far more often than not, you thought that the decisions he was making with the football were good decisions.
Sometimes,
it was very rarely where you're like, what is he
And he
doing?
was keeping you in games when you had no defense at all. He was basically putting up the 30.
Hold on to the ball a little long is like the one thing I've heard as a criticism of him, but it's also because he was trying to make something happen. And I think that he can get that, with more time, get that out of his head. But yeah, it feels like there's nothing on the field besides – you haven't seen him play in a playoff. You've seen him play in the Pac-12 championship game, but he got injured. So you haven't seen him in like those huge games and win those huge games.
Patrick Mahomes playing any of those games?
Yes, I understand.
You know what I mean? I get your point, but not everybody does. Football, I think more than anything else,
Josh Allen didn't.
You got to be on a really good team with a really good, like all the pieces have to line up exactly right, and it really didn't for him.
I mean, Mac Jones didn't. Look at him.
That's what I mean.
My bigger concern with him would be is the franchise you're going to. That's always my concern. And I'm not telling you it's perfect every time.
They are a black hole of quarterbacks.
So this is that would be a bigger concern. Let's use. Remember how yesterday we were making fun of the fact that the Jets are basically saying, Zach Wilson, thank you so much for everything you did, and none of us understood what the hell was going on.
Consider all the memories, Lee.
you can't tell me that there are not times that you feel like, hey, a lot of this is going to come down to an individual. A quarterback can change your franchise. what does that franchise look like? Like, that's the thing that I kind of sit back on. You just said it's a black hole for quarterbacks.
They haven't developed any of them.
So I always have a difficult time then saying how much of that is on the quarterback, how much is that on the franchise. There is a lot that goes into the franchise.
When you haven't developed one in 40 years, it's probably not every player was bad.
But they also made some really bad decisions with the quarterbacks they took. They took Mitch Trubisky when they had Patrick Mahomes on the board.
Here's the good news for Caleb Williams. If you're on his team, and I'm not talking about you're on the Chicago Bears, but you're a member of the Team Williams, right? You're an agent, you're a marketer, you're somebody that's going to be in the business of Caleb Williams specifically.
Yeah.
The Bears don't stink. The reason they're picking number 1 is because Carolina stinks.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't earn the number 1 pick by being terrible. They earned the number 1 pick by Carolina being terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They had a below-average record.
Were they 7-10?
Yes.
That's not good, but that's not terrible.
That's not awful.
They have functioning NFL players there. They're clearly one of the things that they were missing was a dynamic. Josh Fields had moments, but he wasn't consistent.
They have another pick in the top 10.
They got another top 10 pick. This is not where you're going into a team like Bryce Young that had 1 or 2 wins, and there's no talent anywhere to be found. That's not what this is. This is a pretty rare. A 7-10 team doesn't get to pick number 1 very often, if ever, and that's what they get to do right now. And he does have weapons. You got DJ Moore. You've got these guys there that are good players. Now, whether the coach is good, whether the developmental process is good, the answer for 40 years has been no, not really.
I'm rooting for him, and I'm rooting. There's a little bit of the Chicago Bears. I can't even remember the last time they were good. Last time they were
They
legitimately
made the playoffs in 2018, but they weren't great.
The last time they went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman as their quarterback, and that was because they had a really good defense. And Lovie Smith and Brian Urlacher was there, and they had Devin Hester, who returned a kick for a touchdown practically every game.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see him walk into a franchise like you just said. He doesn't. At least there's a foundation already built. 7 wins last year, 2 top 10 picks. And I'm rooting for him. I really am. I hope he's able to have success there, but I always have hesitation on depending on what the franchise is.
I do think that one thing that's interesting to me about Caleb Williams specifically is that he might be one of the first true Gen Z quarterbacks.
What does that mean? I'm really asking. What does that mean?
Yeah, so you might roll your eyes at that, but it's the idea that he has had social media since he's been able to have his own thoughts. Since he was 6-7 years old, he's been able to post on social media, create his brand, have the Caleb Williams experience, not that he's a bad teammate, but he's been able to market himself as Caleb Williams as a product since he's been 10 years old probably. And so it's that version of him. It's also the version of him that he's always been able to speak for himself. He's had agency in that. So you're going to see him speak his mind. You're going to see him be funny and quirky in these post-game press conferences. We've already seen it at his time at USC. You've seen him cry. You've seen him with painted nails. You've seen him kind of push back.
Phone case.
Yeah, you've seen him push back on these things of this machismo attitude
Especially
around the NFL.
Sport. Yep.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how that interacts with the guys on his team, how it interacts with the city of Chicago, how it interacts with his coaches, because I think it's either
one other part too. Because I'm with you. I just want to make sure that this gets the culture of the NFL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That culture of the NFL breaks you down. Yep. It forces you into a box.
Yes, and you need to be one of the group as opposed to that. What they don't like are individuals.
Right.
We don't need distract.
Yeah.
Well, because I have a pink phone case and my nails are green, I'm a distraction. It's a ridiculous idea, but
it exists.
It really exists.
Yeah.
And it exists in a detrimental way. And if he wants to be, no, this is who I am, there's an easy way to fix all of it. Just be awesome.
Right.
But if you're not awesome, it's, look at this guy with the green
distraction.
fingernails.
He's this, yeah.
I think that we've all as a society changed a bit, and I think that the next generation of players are going to change a little bit. Again, not all of them are going to paint their fingernails for every game that they play, but I do think that this next generation of players are people who represent themselves and their gender in different ways. Not saying anything about Caleb Williams himself, but I think that they play a little bit with what being a a professional man in the NFL looks like. And I'm interested to see how that looks for Caleb, and when it's going good and going bad, how that goes.
If he plays well, he can do whatever he wants.
Right.
If he plays bad, then he's a distraction. He's worried about the wrong things.
I mean, it's like Dennis Rodman, when he would wear dresses and do that stuff in the street, and when he's winning with the Chicago Bulls, Great.
I don't know why this popped into my head right now. Kayvon Thibodeau, who was at Oregon as a college player, got drafted number 5 overall to the New York Giants, has become a really, really good pro. You know what the rub on him was coming out of it? I don't know if he loves football. Why not? He's into marketing and crypto.
He's too smart.
He's thinking about what he's going to do after football. Oh my God, get him out of here. You know what he is?
How dare you?
You know what he is? He's a really good football player, a really good football player. But because
he had, you're just looking for something to complain about.
Well, but you're looking for the wrong thing. Complain about the fact that he's a little slow or he's a little dumb. Not that he has a brain that works and he thinks about things outside of football.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And that's how a lot of bad decisions get made. Rams should move up. They should take somebody in the top 10. Alt, Odunze, Powers. Let's go, Slee.
There's your 3.
One of those 3, and I'm going to be clicking my heels together tomorrow morning. Factor Cap is coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. And talking football, of course, you can play Prize Picks during football season. But right now, what don't you have? Prize Picks, you can do playoff hockey. You can do playoff basketball. You can do Major League Baseball. What you do is you can mix them up. You can pick a couple from one sport and a couple from another. You pick between 2 and 6 players. You decide whether or not you think that stat projection is more or less, and you get paid, Slee.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. You know right now you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000 like Trav was just mentioning. The NBA right now, pro basketball, hockey, college basketball. Put all your entries in today. I'm looking right now. Always make my picks here. I'll make them in the pregame show as well. Nikola Jokic, more or less. That's simple. Go find his point total. D'Angelo Russell, 17.5 points, more or less. That's simple. All you got to do is take advantage of our special offer on 710 ESPN. Download the app today. Use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710. On Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
After a Bawanga brace at BMO Stadium last Saturday.
Top of the 18, on his right foot, shot,
Saturday, old friend Maxime Crepeau comes to town as he brings his new squad to face the black and gold. LAFC versus Portland Timbers in a Western Conference battle at BMO. LAFC Pregame starts Saturday night at 7 p.m. on the ESPN LA app.
It's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
I just want you guys to know before we get into Factor Cap, I'm up to speed. I'm basically an LPGA Tour caddy. Just had a nice long conversation with Allison Corpus's caddy. Okay. So whatever you guys need, just let me know. I'm basically on tour.
Did you tell him anything? Were you like, I don't know if I'd go with this?
He's looking at me like, why does this guy? I asked him 38 questions in 4 minutes. It was wonderful.
You're interested.
I've never had more fun than I just did right now. What's up, Em?
All right. So, hey guys, aloha.
Aloha. Aloha.
All right. So, I'm going to start with this one. So my friend told me this story last night.
Is this when you won trivia back-to-back? Is that when this story was told?
We went back-to-back trivia. Back-to-back trivia champs. We actually changed our name this week because it was announced yesterday that Anne Hathaway is a surprise Arsenal fan.
Oh.
And so we changed our team name, and all of us are Arsenal fans in this team.
That might make me an Arsenal fan as well.
We named our team name Anne Hathaway's favorite team. So Anne Hathaway's favorite team did win. So maybe that'll be the same for the Gooners. Anyway, so my friend told me the story. She's going to a very nice place in Hollywood. I won't reveal the place name, but
Wilshire Country Club.
Yeah, Wilshire Country Club. She didn't look bad, but she wasn't to the nines. It was 10 p.m. on a Sunday.
Okay.
So basically a pretty empty place.
Not the rush hour.
Not the rush hour, and she's she's well connected in the entertainment industry. So she has been to nice places before, and this is not unusual for her. Okay, so she goes in, and she has a reservation that they just made on their phone. Hey, we just made a reservation on our phone. She's looked up and down by the hostess. Says, "I'm sorry, we're gonna have to seat you in about 50 minutes."
5-0.
Yeah.
At 10:30 at night.
At 10:50 at night. Okay, so a friend says,
"Interesting." Okay.
I think I'm going to go because I don't like the attitude. And so then my friend leaves, and she decides to make a decision to call this place and have a whole story about, So she basically runs this place a new one, and because again, you don't know.
Who does she talk to?
She talks to the hostess. So she
the
says,
same person that up-downed her.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then she kind of runs this place a new one. And again, you never know who you're talking to, especially in Hollywood, because you might not look like a celebrity, but you might have some celebrity friends. Regardless, you ever been turned away from a place because of how you looked?
Because of attire?
Because of attire. Because you didn't dress the way that they want you to dress. You didn't look super fancy. So you've ever been turned away because of how you presented yourself? Travis, Factor Cap.
So, not turned away necessarily, but we were, Susan and I were in New York one time. We were with her brother, and her brother had a friend who was a resident of New York City. And we were going to go to a place not dissimilar to what Emily was describing. Kind of trendy and fancy and all these things. But, whatever. And I was dressed casually, not sloppily, but casually. Like I had on a pair of jeans and probably Vans, And my brother-in-law Bill's buddy, he up-downed me. And he's like, this isn't going to work. You're going to have to change. They're going to say something if you go in there. They're not even going to let you in. So I got shut down before I got there, so I had to change my clothes. So by the time we got there, it was fine.
Right.
But does that qualify?
Yeah, that
yes?
qualifies. Before you got there, you had to wear something other than what you wanted to wear.
Yes.
Al, what do you think?
So cap for me, and that's primarily because I probably am not trying to go into a nice restaurant, unless I was properly dressed, right? So I think...
But I didn't have on a tank top and a Speedo. I was dressed appropriately.
I don't
but
need that
just
image.
real quick, the tank top and a Speedo, I don't think that's getting you a lot of places, let alone a nice place.
Even at 7-Eleven, they're like, dude, come on.
Margaritaville won't take you.
This guy said at 7-Eleven, they're like, no, I'm just pumping gas. But cap on that, but more because I don't think I've put myself in that position.
All right, Jorge?
Absolutely. I remember on one of mine and Brenda's anniversaries, I forget what number it was, but I had this whole day planned. We started horseback riding in the morning, then we had breakfast somewhere. I took her out somewhere for lunch after. And then
okay, fancy.
We went to we did a lot of different things, but for dinner, I wasn't expecting to get all fancy dressed up or whatever, because we were just planning on having drinks or whatever. So I hadn't made reservations at this place. So when we get there, say reservations were at 8:30, so we get to.
Were you wearing Speedo and a tank top?
No. We're just wearing I guess we were supposed to be wearing slacks and good attire, formal attire,
but no jeans.
But we weren't. I wasn't wearing jeans, but I was wearing black pants and a polo, and then they kept skipping our. I said, hey, my name is a reservation for Briones, whatever, and then they kept putting our menus under, and more people kept coming in until even Brenda goes up to the host and says, hey, listen, our reservation was supposed to be at 8:30, but we see you letting people in and it's 8:45. Like, do you guys have a table for us? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's just other people had reservations before you, so we kept getting skipped. And I don't know if it's because the way we were dressed, but
that always stinks too, because it's like, again, like I said, you don't know who's connected to whom, especially in this town.
Yeah, you don't even have to. Even though connected to who, it's just like
just treat people with decency. Yeah. If they have a reservation, they have a reservation.
But if the currency of your business is trends and who's who, you got to make sure that Emily, Alan, and Travis are not in your restaurant. You know what I mean? Like,
speak for yourself.
It's like one of those. If your whole currency is the cool hot spot, it's messed up, but I get it.
Yeah, I've eaten at that place before, which she talked about, which is why we brought it up in the first place. That experience that she had, and it's a place people like to be seen.
Yeah,
let's just say that there was paparazzi taking pictures of a person on the way in, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. Anyway, so. It was announced that Sue Bird will become a partial owner in the Seattle Storm. So she just recently retired, and so she's going to be a part of the WNBA team. And a lot of celebrities getting into this, into part ownership of the WNBA. They want expansion, because I think I mentioned before that a lot of people who get drafted can't get into teams. So they want to expand. They want to have more slots for athletes to be part of the WNBA. But it got me thinking. So Sue Bird is probably the most famous Seattle Storm athlete of all time. She's storied there. So you want the best athlete for your team to be a partial owner in your team. So, best athlete for the Bulls, Michael Jordan, you want him to be a part owner of the Chicago Bulls. All right, so Al, Factor Cap.
So I got to answer this a couple ways, because sometimes this is done purely for a marketing reason, which I'm okay with. What I don't want is, do you remember when the Nets were moving to Brooklyn and Jay-Z had an ownership stake?
Yeah.
Oh, it's smart. I like it. Like the marketing behind it. Jay-Z originally from Brooklyn. He owned like 0.0 whatever it was, right?
It was a fraction of a
It was
percent.
pure market. So he's obviously not – I don't need Jay-Z making a decision of which European player to go get for the Brooklyn Net. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's fact, but from a marketing perspective – I don't want it for an actual basketball perspective from an ownership standpoint. I think Magic is a good example as well. So I lean fact, but marketing, not actual ownership.
It's funny you brought up Magic, because that was the first one that I thought of, because Magic is one of the rare guys that kind of checks all the boxes. That Magic is super famous. Magic is a good businessman. Magic theoretically understands basketball really well.
Man.
Magic is a
good front
wonderful
like
front man.
Yeah.
He might be the ultimate front man as far as just – I dare you to find somebody that doesn't like Magic Johnson. I dare you to find somebody that Magic Johnson couldn't engage with almost immediately and win them over. But there is a point of, it's got to be the right guy. And if they're just in it for the business of it all, to get a piece of the action, to get, their 3% of every beer that's sold or whatever it may be, I don't know if I need that. I need somebody that can bring something beyond just, hey, you are a great player and we like you, so here's your piece of the pie.
Jorge?
I think this can go both ways. Either like some of your favorite athletes either go and coach a team, but owning one. David Beckham for me. What he's done with Miami, bringing the best soccer player in the world over here, the success he's having. It's just incredible to see his success. So, I got to see it with Beckham, and if other athletes can follow that same model, then why not? Give it a shot.
Yes, totally. I think, I would like if Troy Polamalu wanted to be a partial owner in the Steelers, I'd be all about it. Just in terms of maybe he has an insight on what to do. But I don't know if I want, not every star player should be a part of the
Is there, I don't know, a quarterback that maybe you wouldn't want to be a part of your front office? I'm just throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah, his name sounds very similar to a clock tower in London. All right, I got one more for you guys.
Yeah.
There's a show going on right now. It's called Under the Bridge. It's on Hulu. It stars Lily Gladstone and Riley Keough. and it's like a detective show. It's good. It's not my favorite show, but I really, really like Lily Gladstone. I loved her in Killers of the Flower Moon. I decided to watch all of her movies back. I just like the energy that she brings to screen, and I'm also like, so my friend, like I mentioned, she has connections to Lily, and I'm just like, I never want to meet her. I never want to be in the same presence of her because I don't even know what I would say. I don't know what I'd do. I just really like her work, but I don't want to meet her. Not in the way I don't think it'd be a great interaction.
I'm going to change your mind on that, but go ahead.
But I just feel like I don't know how I would fangirl so hard in a weird way. All right, so there's a famous person that you love that you would not want to meet. And I think for the same reason as I'm talking about, like that you'd be overwhelmed, not because they're not a great person. So Jorge Fatricap.
You know what? It happened to me with Jim Carrey. I was working at a Disney event.
It's a good one.
Yeah, man. When I was working at a Disney event when The Rock had a Race to Witch Mountain, I believe. This is a long time ago when I was younger.
Oh, TBT. Yeah, like 2005, 4?
Yeah, something like that, exactly. And I've always wanted to meet this guy because of the mask, The
Rock
Ventura.
had hair in that movie.
He did. He actually did, yeah. So The Rock was there. They were presenting this movie. It was like a whole Disney event at the Kodak Theater, I believe it was. And backstage, we ran into Jim, and some of the guys wanted to go take pictures with Jim. And he straight out ignored all of us. He was on his phone. He was, pretending to be talking on the phone or whatever, whether he was on a phone call or not. But most likely he was. But he basically didn't even look at us, nothing. Like a couple of guys wanted to get a picture, but he just basically, go beat it, kids. I'm not here for you guys. And it sucked, because he was one of those guys that we looked up to, whatever.
Trev?
There's a person, and this is why I would strongly encourage you to reconsider your position, Em. I never, and I had opportunities to do it, and I always said I just don't want to do it because I don't want even the possibility that it wouldn't go the way I would hope it is. It was Vin Scully. I never got a chance to talk to him. I never got a chance to shake his hand. I never got a chance to say, hey, man, I just love listening to you every night, which I'm sure he heard 1,000 times a day, every day for his entire life, right? I never got to do it, and I deeply, deeply regret it. So all you have to do is, hey, it's a pleasure. I really like what you do. Have a nice day, and you can keep it moving because once you don't have the chance, you don't have the chance.
Al?
For me, I say cap on this. There was a point where I was like, I think Magic, and then I met him, and I was like, wow, that was a great interaction there. No, I'm good. It doesn't matter who it is. If I get a chance to meet any of these people, I want to meet them. And part of the reason why I want to meet them, Trav, if you're a big fan of that person, it's okay to tell them that, hey,
Absolutely.
I really appreciate your work, respect your work, and leave it at that.
We are here at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Pro, and coming up next, Tournament Director David Tucker joins us right here on Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Contact
Alan Sliwa, Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
We are not live at LA Live today. We are live from Wilshire Country Club over on town. We're here for the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro, LPGA event that has the largest non-major tour finale event of the year. It is a big purse. We're up to nearly $4 million in it. And we are joined right now by David Tucker, who is the tournament director of the JM Eagle LA Championship. David, let me start by saying thank you for having us out today.
Oh, man, appreciate you being here. What a better, there's no better place to be, obviously. At a golf course, Wilshire Country Club is such a generous host to us. So gracious for you, gracious for them, and obviously the Wang family to put this tournament on, the JM Eagle LA Championship.
Absolutely. So we were chatting a little bit during the break before you came on, and I asked you if this was your first year as tournament director. You've been here since the beginning of this. Tell me how it's changed from what it was to what we're looking at today.
Yeah, it came together quick. I think it was a 60-day turnaround, right, from commitment to deal. But, man, every year we just get better. It's just so nice to see. We had a good 3-year stretch. We had a hiccup with COVID, obviously, that the whole sports world was dealing with, but we managed our way through that, weathered that storm, and came back bigger and stronger. So if you got a chance to see it last year, it's a very good representation of what we've accomplished, but this year's just better and better, and we are so excited to invite these fans out this year.
Dave, for those who are maybe they're regular golf fans, maybe they're a little bit more casual from a golf perspective, what would you say if somebody's got a day to come out this weekend, or obviously today or tomorrow? What could they expect? What part of being here do you think is just a great tangible to bring people out here?
Yeah, great question. I mean, some of the greatest features about the LPGA, it's an approachable sport. You're not sitting 6-7 spectators deep to watch incredible golf. You are up front, close and personal, and this week's really special because we've had a lot of talks with the community, a lot of talks with the Wang family about how do we get youth involved, how do we get golf in front of so many different kids. And so on Saturday we have a really big youth initiative. We're going to have a t-shirt giveaway. There'll be vouchers for food. We have putt-putt. We have a junior golf show that'll be on the driving range at 2 p.m. We have a lot of activations and energy that's gone into this. So over 1,000 kids are already committed, and we expect to see that number grow year in and year out.
David Tucker's the tournament director of the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. And we've been talking a lot about golf today, and especially that idea of bringing people to the game that maybe aren't golfers, or maybe think they don't like golf, and maybe think, it's not for me, or whatever. I dare somebody to come out.
I know.
You're right.
See this. 100%. Watch how they hit that ball and say to themselves, how do they do that? I want to feel that. I want to learn how to see that, because to your point, you get so close to it. It's not abstract. It's you're watching these perfect swings and how they do it. And I just take a taste. It's like it's that thing like just taste it. You may really like it, and this is a great environment to do that.
That's spot on, 100%. I mean, once you're out here and you look at it, the ladies have a better swing than the men's, right? If you're an amateur, you want to come out and look at and replicate your swing, watch the women. Secondly, it's just a fantastic family-friendly and fun and safe environment. There's obviously food trucks and concessions, and we are a beautiful park that just happens to have golf taking place on top of it, right? So when you're out there, and I mean, anyone obviously listening, please come out and enjoy this experience and see it for yourself.
Can you talk a little bit about the competition over the weekend? Just how great, and we got some great stats here, just talking about 17 of the top 25 right now women's world golf rankings are here in this tournament. Can you talk a little bit about what to expect from just a pure golf perspective?
Yeah, I mean, we're so grateful to have Walter and Shirley Wang up the purse again. I think you had mentioned that at the top of the broadcast, but $3.75 million is a lot to play for. So it attracts some of the great talent that we see on the LPGA Tour. In addition to that, man, it is a very, very hard track if you're not used to it, right? But we've done it here for a number of years, so the players feel comfortable. And you'll see incredible shots because they know what to go for and what not to go for. The caddies are the ones that will be guiding them through that putting surface per usual, but it is no joke when you're out there. You got to be there mentally and physically all day. So Hannah Green, who was an incredible athlete, is out there again to defend her title. We're rooting for her and hope she does well. But it's amazing to see 109 or almost 110 international players that are in the field versus our 40 or so Americans. That's what brings out fans too, right?
Yep.
LA is the most diverse city that we can bring this tournament to, so we're so grateful to have people come out from all different walks of life to see representation from all over the world. So it's just an incredible event.
David Tucker is the tournament director of the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. You can go to jmeaglelachampionship.com for tickets. I want to go back to something you said a second ago.
Yeah.
As the tournament director,
yeah,
how involved are you on, as far as, obviously the superintendent's going to have a lot to do with this, but the setup of the course to make it both fun to watch. You want to watch birdies. You want to watch the ball hit close to the hole. But you also want to challenge the best players in the world. Kind of that balance of let's make sure that it's playable enough so the fans can get to see really cool stuff, but at the same time, you got to challenge the very best.
Absolutely. I mean, our role, is really to set up from a viewership. Oh, look at that. Another round of applause. Someone hit a good shot.
There you go.
Is that for the question? Or?
Yeah, maybe it was. Congratulations. Just firing away. Yeah, this is fantastic because we basically set up the course as best we can from a fan perspective. We work with the LPGA specifically because it's a tour event, and they will take over from a rules perspective.
Okay.
So pin placement is really in their hands. We don't actually know what pin placements will go out. Neither do the players until the night before.
Oh, wow.
So they keep it under a tight lid from a competitive
So if anybody's
standpoint.
like, why does that pin tuck behind that bunker? You go, talk to those guys over there. Yeah.
Exactly
I don't set the rules here, guys.
You want to talk to the LPGA folks. It is the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro here at Wilshire Country Club. That is David Tucker. He is the tournament director. Again, David, thank you so for having us.
Thank you, David.
It is a beautiful day, and I guarantee if you come out, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
You got it for sure. Lakers, Game 3 tonight, the entire season on the line, the perfect must-win that isn't technically a must-win. How do you actually do that? It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Ten a.m. on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN. KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
Wilshire Country Club is not a bad spot to spend a Thursday afternoon, a Friday afternoon, a Saturday, and a Sunday afternoon, because that's where the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro is being played. Al and I are standing right by the 18th tee right now, not far from the 18th green, 156 yards between the tee and the green on 18.
You know, my favorite thing that I've seen that's been happening so far is I love seeing the little kids go by.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Little girl going by, especially one get sentimental for a second. I remember going to a WNBA game when I was a kid, and I think seeing women be professional athletes when you're a young girl that loves sports, it's like interesting to see that, yeah, I can do that. Like, if I wanted to, I can work really hard, I can do these things. It's achievable for me, and I think that is one really cool thing. But I love seeing kids get lit up by this. Getting to see their favorite players up close, and I think that tomorrow they have the youth day, the junior golf day, I think is – no, not tomorrow, Saturday. So make sure you bring out your kids there because it's a really fun environment. It's a fun day with you, your mom or dad or guardian. Definitely check it out.
Guys, under 18, you're free.
How about this? If you're a guy and you're like, guys, come out here with your buddies, and you can have a bunch of beers and watch really good golf. It's fun. You're going to have a really good time. It's a sporting event. Like, there's a lot of all the things we're talking about. It's also a sporting event where you can come out, have a bite to eat, goof around with your friends, have a couple of cold ones, and watch some world-class golf. JMEagleLAChampionship.com for your tickets. So, what was it, Al? 2 weeks ago when DeMarco was in studio, and I was kind of teetering on the fence about whether I wanted to end my fitness journey?
I'm going to add to it because I gave you a pitch, and it was like, hey, enjoy the weekend, and DeMarco kind of spoke like an athlete.
He did.
How they think.
Yeah.
And I could not speak that talk because I'm not an athlete.
So I've been on a little bit of fitness journey, right?
Yeah.
I've changed my eating habits reasonably, and I've changed my alcohol consumption habits
You look
reasonably.
great. You've dropped a lot of LBs.
But the biggest thing has been is I'm taking just a nice long walk every day. And two people were the inspiration for this. Number one was DeMarco because I saw him out at Rams camp. I'm like, dude, what did you do to yourself? You look amazing. And he told me. It's basically a walk. My buddy Brian Beckner he didn't start 75 Hard. He introduced me to what 75 Hard is. I didn't do that. I did my own lazy version of that, which is effective, at least better than nothing. Well, as it turns out, as I've been doing this, apparently, somehow, some way, I inspired someone else who sent me a tweet yesterday. And I want to play it for you guys. This is Jason in the Circle of Trust.
Or is it action? He didn't even say action. Travis, Jason here, and the boys from Ameritire. I started my diet and I started at 320, and I'm 66, Travis. Don't you quit on me, bro. Quit on me. You are Advertiser's friend, and that's my boy Kyle. Or Blue.
So he's lost 54
awesome.
pounds.
Come on.
He's lost 54 pounds doing that. I haven't shown you the whole video, Slee.
Yep.
You need to see Blue because you think, old school Blue. You're my boy, Blue. That Blue looks more like the Blue from the movie.
That's
like
amazing.
Blue is amazing.
That's amazing.
Jason, good job. Thank you for sending that along. I'm glad that I inspired you.
By the way, you know what that's going to do to you?
Get me going.
Yeah, you're not.
Absolutely.
You can't let Jason down.
No.
Dude, that's a big guy. Like, look, 320 pounds, that's a big guy. To lose 50-plus pounds,
it's amazing.
Good for you, brother.
Keep
it
going.
up.
Well, can I tell you something that you did? It's simplified. Like, you didn't say, guys, I started doing CrossFit and I'm joining the Navy SEALs.
I'm doing that triathlon.
Right.
Yeah, you simplified it. Okay, that might sound funny, but that's one of the biggest things you could do is just be active. You take 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
Now, if you start doing other things and watching, now you can have even more of an effect. But just being out and taking those 10,000, you simplified
It's sustainability.
Yeah.
You can't sustain being a CrossFit person unless you're already that.
Yeah.
If you go from zero to CrossFit, you're not going to do that forever.
I can hear Susan yelling at her radio right now. Yes, you can, because she's a CrossFit maniac. But
she's
a
been
whole
a
Do
CrossFit
burpees right now.
maniac
Do
for
burpees
forever.
right now.
She would. She'd grab that ledge up there and start doing pull-ups. But yes, Emily. I'm on your team on this one. That is.
And I
that's
think
a better way
just
to do
generally it gets you outside. It changes your view of things, and it's. I think I read this one place that one of the greatest ways to prevent Alzheimer's is taking walks with a partner or someone to talk with. And I think that
Just as every point matters,
presented by Plus Pro. So you got the LPGA going on right now. The Kings were in Edmonton. They ended up evening their best-of-7 series, a game apiece with an overtime win last night. Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks are headed back to Dallas, tied at 1.
Yep.
Dodgers are looking to sweep the Washington Nationals. Shohei Ohtani
Hooray.
had 3 doubles yesterday.
Nationals.
Well, they lost 2 or 3 last time, so at least they flipped the
know.
script on him. And Shohei may be okay. Leads the league in just about
20
everything.
hits yesterday.
They had 20 hits. That's quite a few. That's quite. Will Smith had 4. Shohei had 3 doubles.
They had 20 hits.
It's a lot.
By the way, some of the other guys too, Lux, Muncy, a couple of the other guys.
Eric Caro said something out of the game. He goes, "This is what this looks like." He goes, "This is what I think we were all expecting every night." He goes, "I know it's not going to be this every night, but this is what it can be when they get going a little bit." But look, the top line event right now is the Lakers at Crypto tonight. They have to win. I know we said that they had to win 1 or 2 in Denver, and they do, I think, to ultimately win the series. I don't think that you can come back from where they are right now in an 0-2 hole with 3 of the next 5 games scheduled to be in Denver. But if they don't win tonight, Al, then you're just counting it off. You know, you're just waiting for that last breath.
Yeah,
you have to get it done tonight.
I think there's a little bit of, looking at this Lakers team and how – Trev, you could lose a game, but it's how you lose.
Sure.
And I couldn't have scripted a worse way to lose in Game 2. By the way, I could have said some of that in Game 1, but okay, it's Game 1. It is what it is. Yeah, they were up 12.
No, Game 2 was the 10 out of 10 bummer.
It's the 10. They're going to win the game, right?
Yeah.
No. They're up by 8 with LeBron just hit 2 threes in a row with 5 minutes left to go. They're going to win that game, right? The way you lost, the comments afterwards, I thought the complaining about the referees afterwards was not a good look. It sounded like they were defeated, demoralized, whatever you want to put to it. I think Game 3 just becomes, do they got something left? Do they believe in their head that they can get one from the Denver Nuggets? Is it this – because, last year was interesting because they were obviously same position. They ended up getting swept, but they never really gave up. Even Game 4 – it was Braun dropping 40. It's coming down to the final possession. They never gave up. And I'm not telling you that I think the Lakers are going to give up, but damn, is it impossible for it not to get into their head that no matter what they do, close game, not close game, that the Denver Nuggets are going to find a way to win and the Lakers are going to find a way to lose.
Well, it cuts both ways, right? Like if you guys know me and I'm just generally an optimistic silver lining sort of guy.
Yep.
What you said is true. Every single one of these games, all 4 games last year and both of the games this year in the postseason, have been close, competitive, tight games well into the fourth quarter. There was never a point where you felt like the Nuggets were just smashing them.
You're not turning the game off.
No. You got to see it last night between the Pelicans and OKC. It's like, oh, this thing's over.
Sure,
it's never been like that. It's always been close. That's the optimism, right? The optimism is if you catch 1 or 2 more breaks, maybe you get a call, maybe your coach makes an adjustment that kind of alters things in a meaningful way. Maybe the Nuggets get somebody in foul trouble. They're just a couple of more things need to go there. Maybe that's the difference between it being a 2-point game with 3 minutes to go and you being on the wrong side or the right side. That's the optimistic side. The more realistic side, I think, is every game's been close, but you literally have lost every single one of them. That game, especially on Monday night, Anthony Davis was terrific up until the fourth quarter. LeBron James was terrific all night long. D'Angelo Russell made 7 3-point shots. Jamal Murray wasn't very good until the fourth quarter. The Nuggets still haven't seemed to find their best version of themselves yet, and you still lost.
It's funny because if I just said, you didn't watch the game, and I said, all right, let me just show you the box score.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the total, what the score was. And I just said, this is what LeBron did in the game. This is what Anthony Davis did in the game. This is what D'Angelo Russell did in the game. And the Denver Nuggets were going to shoot 23% from 3, and Jamal Murray was going to go 9 for 24. I didn't tell you how many points he had in the fourth quarter. I didn't tell you Anthony Davis, what he did in the fourth quarter. I just said this is the stats. I'm pretty sure you would say Lakers won the game. You can't tell me. I'm looking at Al. You told me to look 9 of 24. Right. Anthony Davis with 32. D'Angelo Russell at 7 threes. They're winning that game. I think that's part of the.
And that's the pessimism because they still lost.
I was going to say it's not. It's not just
they did their best.
It's not just what you do in a game, but it's also when you do it. And I think that has a lot to do with the second half. They had 31 points from the 10-minute point of the third quarter on. It's when you do it as well. If the best players in the world take their game to another level in the final quarter, two of those players came from the Nuggets. One of those players came from the Lakers.
The frustrating thing, too, is, like, at this point, it feels like for the Lakers, you're going to have to almost beg the Nuggets to play badly. And I don't really ever think that's going to happen, at least this version of the Nuggets.
Well, they just did.
And
I mean,
what if their version of badly is not that bad?
If they hit 40% from three, and I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets, if they hit 40% from three, that's coming. It is coming. Denver's not going to shoot 23% from the three-point line.
Bad night, but Nikola Jokic, what was his line? Insane?
Jokic is the least variable of all the variables. Jokic
just chalk it up, you're saying? Like
he's going to the ceiling is he's the best player in the league. His floor is he's the best player in the league. There is no variance in what he does. It's remarkably consistent. That not only is he awesome, he's remarkably consistent in what he goes and does day in and day out. Look, let's just call it what it is. You know what might help tonight? Referees. The Lakers complained over and over and over again. I do think that sometimes that can have a little bit of effect. The league is interested in the Lakers playing more.
Do you think it was strategic? Because I don't. I thought it was. I thought they were genuinely complaining. But it could benefit them either way.
I think it was both just deep frustration and hey, look, we got to throw everything we have at the wall. Sweeps are bad for business. Lakers sweeps are really bad for business. So there's that. Now again, they got swept last year. They've lost the first two games. Like, this was one of these things that if you wanted to kind of nudge it one way or just the gods, let's just call it that, if the gods needed it to go one way or another, it felt like it. Because if we're sitting here 1-1 and they did down a little bit, Slee, because I realized that
they're
there
about
are
to
actual players on the 18th tee right now. And,
tee off here.
I get excited when I'm at a golf course. I get excited talking Laker and Rams and Dodgers with you.
So
Why are you staring at your credentials?
Yeah, because when I went in there, when you walked me in, was like, hey, Al, let me show you the place real quick. And you walked me in. You're like, hey, this is your guy for your media credential. And I'm, oh, thanks, Trav. And you're like, hey, help yourself to some bagels. We got some donuts over
Fruit,
here,
too.
some coffee, some fruit.
Solid spread.
Solid spread, but I was getting a little confused here. I'm like, is this just Trav own the place? I didn't know what was going on. So anyways.
I like to make myself at home.
So this is the portion that I'm confused with. Am I a member now? Like, is this a membership that now I can – because I have – let me tell you what I have. I have in my car, I have a gym bag.
Okay.
So I just want to know if I am able
Grab
to
a shower?
Throw my sandals on, throw a towel on. Towel over. By the way, I do 2 towels. I don't know the people that just threw one on. Let's put one around the waist as well. I do both. I just want to know if I'm able now to go enjoy this wonderful
probably a steam room
country
here
club
somewhere. See how far you can get. See, just start. I'm here to take a steam.
So are you a member?
Wait, the first towel doesn't go around the waist?
Men are monsters, Emily.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Of course it goes around the waist.
So
the problem is there's only 30% that do it.
But Al, the fact that you had to specify means that you've seen all of the people that do not.
Of course.
But, Emily, not to get too down into this particular rabbit hole, be happy there's one. Sometimes just over the shoulder is better than what you can get because sometimes it's just
no, they're walking around like they just walked out of their own shower at home.
And they're doing this when they go by. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, what's up, bro?
Did you find parking?
They have nothing, no more whatevers to give. So it's all out there.
It's mostly, tell me if you've experienced this, it's mostly older men.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they have no more whatevers to give.
It's not the guy that's an underwear model as his day job.
Or is it a generational thing? They just didn't do it back then either?
Because when I don't think that the guy that's 75 right now, when he was 25, was doing that. Right?
You should ask. Actually, that's a great question.
Let's go.
50 years ago, were you doing this or no?
Go live from the steam room.
Are you the full naked man in the locker room, or are you a human being?
877-710-3776.
I guarantee you there would be a lot of people calling in and say, yeah, I'm not throwing a towel on.
And
I refuse.
A lot.
Yeah.
Women aren't totally that different about that same thing, but yeah, it just
okay.
Yeah,
I'm one.
So this does not work.
It's the waist one.
This does not work.
Nope, you're probably not gonna. I thought when you said you had a gym bag, if you had like a gym bag full of gold bars, maybe. But
just
short,
clanking around.
Yeah, short of that, we're gonna have
just,
to find
just deodorant in there.
Who has gold bars? I feel like that's only like in cartoons that you're just like.
You know who had gold bars?
Who?
Honest was that senator from New Jersey that they're kicking out. They literally found gold bars in his basement.
I mean.
So at least one person, him and Bugs Bunny, have the gold bars.
They'll run away and leave a trail of smoke in the same outline as their body.
Leave a hole in the wall in the shape of a gold bar.
We're going to say about what Diana said?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Diana was on a TV show, and she was talking about...
Diana Orsini,
yes, for The Athletic. And she was talking about her report that the Rams are taking calls and trying to get to top 10. And didn't specify what area of top 10, and nor who they're looking for. But what she said was that Sean McVay is clearly in love with a player. And it's Sean McVay that's in love with a player. And I think, though, Les Snead and the organization will go with what Sean thinks. I think typically, a lot of times, especially, they go with what Sean thinks in terms of like that player.
But okay, let me ask you this, because I'm curious what your answer to this is going to be. Sean McVay loves player X. Sure. Les Snead's looking going, I don't love that guy. Like maybe but let's say he's thinking that's not our guy. Do you think that pick?
Who wins? You're saying?
Yeah. Yes. And because first of all, I think they're going to collaborate. I think they're going to land on the same guy. Mm-hmm. But if McVay's like that's my guy, and Snead's thinking, I don't know. I'm not sure they're picking that guy.
I don't think
it
there
are on the presentation.
I don't think there are too many. I could be wrong on this, but what percentage, if you take that same scenario and play it out with other NFL teams, same scenario with other NBA teams, same scenario, play it out however you want. I think McVay is getting who he wants. I don't think that's as common. I don't think that's certainly common in all the other sports, but I think there are certain coaches that will get ultimately what they're looking for.
I don't disagree. Like, if you're taking the 32 guys and who's got the most juice, Sean McVay's not outside of your top 3 or 4.
Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan.
Yep. And I mean, Belichick's down the road, so it's not him anymore. I mean, that might be the list. That might be the top 3 right there, so he's in it.
Harbaugh?
Right now?
Yeah.
He's walking in with basically the keys.
Baltimore or
Jim
or John?
Jim.
Okay.
Because, look, Jim is not a newbie in this. Like, had he just come from college, then he's going to have somebody that step back, young man. But he's a 60-something-year-old guy who's been through the NFL once before and had massive success doing it.
Here's another scenario. So the things that have been floated out there by ESPN talking heads, that what if the Chargers traded Justin Herbert because Harbaugh loves J.J. McCarthy so much, and he's talking J.J. McCarthy so up, and then he says, hey, I really want J.J. McCarthy, let's trade Herbert. Yeah, that's not going by.
That's not going through for a million different reasons.
It's also absurd.
That being number one,
yep.
It's absurd. But, yeah, I hear you. When you heard that story, that McVay loves player X and that they want to move up to player X, Emily, you and I were talking about it during the break.
Yeah.
Don't answer. Is there a player that jumps into your mind, Slee, as the guy that Sean McVay would love to get his hands on? That this is the guy that can really take us to another spot?
Marvin Harrison?
Okay, they're probably not going to be able to get that high because Arizona's going to take Marvin Harrison. They're not moving out of that spot. They need Marvin Harrison, so he's off the board. And it's not a quarterback.
Who's the tight end?
Bowers. Mm-hmm. That's where I landed. Bowers was the guy that I thought it was going to be. Emily, you landed on Odunze.
Yeah, I think that they've had so much success with the wide receivers, and I think that they know that Cooper Kupp, they could slot him in a different spot. I think that Sean McVay really wants to unlock what they kind of get a taste of with Tutu Atwell, which is long, deep, super fast. And I think that Tutu Atwell just isn't as talented as Rome Odunze.
No, he's not.
And so I think that would be why I think they would go out for get him. But I do think that Brock Bowers would be really interesting.
So your case is a good one. I want to make the case for Brock Bowers. We've seen what the Rams' offense looks like with the following weapons. High-level quarterback play, both with Matthew Stafford and with Jared Goff. We've seen what it looks like with high-level running back play with both Todd Gurley and last season with Kyren Williams. We've seen what it looks like with high-level wide receiver play. You've seen Kupp. You've seen Puka this last year.
Set records.
We've seen OBJ come through there. Robert Woods is a really good NFL wide receiver. You've seen
something's missing in there.
You've never seen that offense with a high-level tight end. You've never seen it.
And no offense to Tyler Higbee.
No,
he's just not the top.
He's fine. And I'm not going to compare
then there is offense.
Travis Kelce. I'm not going to compare anybody to Rob Gronkowski or Tony Gonzalez or anything like that. But Bowers is a playmaker. He's not just a guy that's your sixth offensive lineman. He's not a guy that's running 6-yard outs to try to pick it. He's a playmaker. He's an athlete. And if you all of a sudden can unlock that, you got the quarterback, you got the running back, you got 2 really good wide receivers. By the way, Demarcus Robinson is your third guy. That's not the worst third wide receiver in the league. That's a very highly functional guy. Rome Odunze's amazing, but that tight end thing is just – and, here's one other thing I'll throw in there. Where do the Rams love to take guys from? Georgia. They love to take guys from the SEC. They love to take guys from the Georgia Bulldogs specifically. Bowers checks a whole bunch of those boxes.
He did miss a lot of this season with an injury, though.
Yeah.
So, and it's what was it? It was a knee, right?
I believe that's right.
So, that's another piece of concern. To take him in the top 10?
I'm okay with it.
Football players get hurt.
You're talented. You're talented.
Yeah, and if he had 3 knee reconstructions,
different story.
Totally,
I'm with
totally.
you. Different story.
You get hurt, and they put you back together, and then you go back out there and you play more. That's just kind of the life in the NFL.
Is Brock a blocking tight end?
He's more not really. Okay. He's going to go, but they went and got the guy from Seattle. I'm blanking on his name right now, but they made the trade for him. They signed him.
I just would love for Puka to stop blocking, having to put in a blocking position.
I don't need my guy that's catching a bunch of touchdowns to be, wham blocking defensive ends.
Exactly.
I don't need a ton of that along the way. Emily, help me out here. What are we doing next? Where are we on the schedule? I know we've had a couple of things going on.
I think we're going to have Tom Abbott from the Golf Channel stop by, talk a little bit more about the tournament, talk more about where the LPGA is right now with some of its stars. So I think we're going to do that next.
Tom Abbott is coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. All right, let's talk more about NextGen. 833-3-NEXGEN. I was telling you, I was down at the NextGen headquarters in Anaheim yesterday. It's amazing. And they have this incredible system in place to make sure that you get exactly what you want, that you are going to make sure that the response time is exactly what you want, that they've got all of their inventory, that they're going to get the technician out that knows exactly what he's doing. I could not have been more impressed by what I saw yesterday at the NextGen headquarters. So if you want to make sure that your AC and heating is running right as we head into summer, why don't you pick up that phone, 833-3-NEXTGEN, because they are going to hook you up right now. Right through the end of the month, you can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up for just, how about this, for just $44, limited through April 30th. And, of course, they got all your plumbing needs covered. They're going to give you a drain inspection with camera for that same $44. Pick up the phone, give them a call right now, 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXTGEN, or you can go to nextgenaironplumbing.com to schedule.
Yeah.
It is the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plast Pro. It is the opening round of the tournament right now. And Slee, I don't want to put the cart too far ahead of the course, but we might get the current leader of this thing coming up in just a little bit along the way as well. So Maya Stark is very likely going to join us here.
There you go.
In just a little bit. The sun's coming out, which is making my ability to track the ball maybe not exactly what I need it to be, but it's a beautiful day here at Wilshire Country Club. If you're looking to watch some world-class golf this weekend, JM Eagle, LAChampionship.com is the place that you can go to get your tickets. And as promised, we are joined right now by the Golf Channel's Tom Abbott, who is joining us here for the JM Eagle LA Championship. Tom, so I'm looking at the board right now. I'm seeing a 7 under right now. So they're going pretty low so far today.
Yeah, good score. Do you give everybody that applause?
Yeah, just about.
Or was it just
about,
me?
Well, you know.
Mine was louder, right?
Well,
mine was louder.
Yours was very special.
He gives it to himself a lot.
Okay, well, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Yeah, 7 under is pretty good scoring out here. I mean, the conditions are good, though. I mean, there's not a lot of breeze. Perfect temperature to play golf. So if you're going to score well, this is the kind of conditions to do it. So I'm not surprised that the scoring is the way it is. We'll see how it changes this afternoon if the wind kicks up a little more, and things can change here relatively quickly. But the forecast for the week is supposed to be very, very nice.
Can you talk a little bit about just in general the competition out here? We were talking a little bit earlier about it. 17 of the top 25 in the women's world golf rankings are here right now. What do you expect over these next 4 days from a competition perspective?
Well, I think it's interesting, right? Because Nelly Korda has been the big story in women's golf and in golf in general, and she's not here this week. But it's a big opportunity for a number of players to come in and play well and grab a victory. And, looking at the top of that leaderboard right now, Maya Stark played very well last week, was close at the end to winning. So she's playing well, and she could come in here and win her second career LPGA event. Céline Boutier from France, who had a fantastic season last year. Big story considering the Olympics are coming up, and she's from that basically the area where the golf course is, Le Golf National. That's where she grew up, right? And she could win a gold medal in France, in her hometown. Wow. Looking to kind of kickstart her campaign this year. She's off to a decent start. So, I think over the weekend as the tournament kind of gets going and we see how the scoring plays out and who's in contention, we'll have some really interesting storylines. And it's, for folks here in this area, it's such a lovely day out.
It's
right?
great.
I mean, the weather's good. It's a comfortable crowd. You've got family, you've got kids. If your kids are playing a little bit of golf, you can come out. You can interact with these players. They're really accommodating, and it's a family-friendly atmosphere, which you don't get at a lot of sports, right? I mean, there are a lot of sports where you're like, maybe I don't want to take my 7-year-old.
Strategic,
right? Yeah. But here, that's not the case. It's family friendly. It's a comfortable day out, walk around, enjoy the golf, enjoy the temperature, and get to see the best players in the world.
Tom Abbott from the Golf Channel joining us here at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plaspro. You mentioned her name a second ago. Nelly Korda, #1 ranked player in the world. She won 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
And she won the season's first major last weekend, the Chevron. Kind of putting it in perspective, because, maybe somebody that kind of knows golf, but maybe doesn't know it all that well. Tiger Woods' name, maybe Jack Nicklaus, a few others along the way. 5 in a row. Kind of put into perspective just how unusual that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a handful of players that have done it both in the men's and the women's game. In the women's game, there are now only 3, Nelly being the 3rd. So if she goes to 6 in a row, that nobody's ever done that. It's 6 wins in 6 starts. And what's interesting about the way that Nelly has done this is she has won them in different states. She's won them in different conditions, completely different golf courses, and she had a 7-week break before the first victory and the second. So you come back from that 7-week break, and boom, right back into the form that she was playing 7 weeks prior. It's incredible. She and the Korda family. You may have heard of her father, Peter Korda, who won the Australian Open tennis. Her brother, Sebi Korda, who was 26 in the world last week when I was checking the rankings. Her sister's a good player.
Out here.
Her mother played in the Olympics. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what the family has been able to do. And I think the momentum that she brings, we're devastated that she's not here this week, right? I mean, prime time, East Coast coverage, big city, lots of people here that love the game. Obviously, they would love to have been watching Nelly this week. But putting that to one side, she's going to return to competition in 2 weeks' time in New York and, New Jersey.
Close enough.
Got to be careful.
Sure.
Careful. In the New York area.
The area
in New
yes.
Jersey. And, it's going to be a really big story. And I think with everything that's happening and this kind of movement towards getting more attention for women's sports and these stars that are developing, right? She's right there. It's fantastic to be part of it.
Tom Abbott, who's taking some time here, of course, a part of the Golf Channel on the Travis and Sliwa Show. I'm going to stick to that for a quick second. How much impact can that have, what she's doing on just the LPGA? And like Travis was mentioning, you might get eyes that weren't aware of it. And we used kind of this example a little bit earlier, what Caitlin Clark has done for women's basketball, and now moving that into the WNBA. How do you feel like when you have a dominant performer like that, it can just raise the awareness of the entire sport?
It can. And you just need one player. People think, you need more than that. No, Caitlin Clark has carried women's collegiate basketball. Yeah, people enjoy women's collegiate basketball. They have done for a long time. But in terms of the attention that sport has garnered in the United States and around the world, and other people who are intrigued about it in other countries, I mean, this is kind of a sad fact for golf, but the women's collegiate finals, NCAA finals, did double the rating of the final day of the Masters.
No kidding.
Double the amount of people watched. So I mean, look at it like that in that context, right? So it's a movement because of one star, and you just really need one star. It's great to have 3 or 4 or 5, but one star, one player that has that X factor that grabs people's attention. Tiger Woods had it, and it grabbed people's attention. You can't really put a finger on exactly why. Obviously, they have to be really good at what they do,
and she certainly is,
right? But there's that X factor of why people are intrigued. Nelly Korda could have that, and we'll see if she continues playing well and people continue to look towards it. And as I said before, these athletes are really great role models.
Tom Abbott from the Golf Channel joining us here on the Travis and Slee Show. It's the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro at Wilshire Country Club. Last one before we let you go, Tom. Sure. Before you got to go to work here a little bit.
Some people say it's not work, but yeah, I do.
So watching these players this morning, and I think everybody understands where I'm coming with this. This is not meant to be disrespectful in any way, but as somebody who plays golf, as somebody who loves to play golf and watch golf, this is so much more the way that regular people play golf. When you watch the men's tour, it's something that's incomprehensible to a regular person. When you watch them play, it's like now everybody's swing is perfect. They hit it where they want to do it.
Yeah.
But the yardages are relatable. It's a very relatable game to the weekend golfer.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a decent player, I mean, if you play golf regularly, let's say you're 12 handicap or less, of which I'm sure a lot of people listening are in that category here in Los Angeles with the golf that you have in this city, you can probably hit it as far, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit longer, as the players out here on the LPGA, right? You can relate, you can stand there and think, I'd probably be hitting from here. But then when you compare what you would score compared to them, it's like, they beat me by 25 shots. So, it's...
nobody's shooting a 64 out here today.
Right, exactly, yeah. So and I think that's the interesting part for a lot of male golfers. And I think, a lot of the audience still in women's sports is a male audience. I think that's changing, which is great over time. But a lot of our audience are male amateur golfers, and they can learn so much from watching the women, and we hear that time and time again. Like, I came out and I watched. You know what? Now I can see why this person's doing this, or the tempo of the golf swing is smooth.
That's it.
And I think it does relate. The men's game is such a far cry from the average male amateur. This game is a far cry, but there are some similarities. But they're going to beat you by a long way.
Oh, they're going to kill you.
They're going to beat you by a long way.
You can at least follow the tempo.
You can at least feel like I would have had a chance.
Yeah,
but
you'd
didn't.
be wrong,
but
you would at least have a chance. Tom Abbott is covering the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro for the Golf Channel. Tom, appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.
Great to be with you. Yeah, thanks for coming out.
You got it. All right. Em, what do we got next? What do we got coming up next?
We got the dump, but we might have a special guest.
Okay.
We'll see.
Good. One way or the other, we're going to have something good for you. The dump or I'm kind of intrigued by the special guest. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
after a Bawanga brace at BMO Stadium last Saturday.
Top of the 18, on his right foot, shot,
Denis is heating up. Saturday, old friend Maxime Crepeau comes to town as he brings his new squad to face the black and gold. LAFC versus Portland Timbers in a Western Conference battle at BMO. LAFC pregame starts Saturday night at 7 p.m. on the ESPN LA app.
All right, so I'm looking at – so Emily puts together the items in the dump, and there's one here that I should recall that I have absolutely no recollection of at all. On this day in 1994, on April 25th, 1994, there was 14 inches of snow in Southern California. What I need to know is, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean like on the top of the foothills up here, like above Pasadena? Because occasionally there will be some snow on those mountains. That is technically California.
School that day, I was shoveling snow at the way.
I bet that you're in the same way.
Yeah.
I've lived here virtually my entire life. I've seen hail. I've seen also.
Sure.
I've never seen a snowflake hit the ground in Los Angeles in my entire life.
No, the closest would be, at least in San Diego, the closest we have is Julian Mountain, which is about 45 minutes east of San Diego. Obviously, go up to Big Bear Lake area, whatever it is.
Sure.
But nothing here.
Like
nothing.
Foot or a little over a foot of snow.
I'm looking at a 1994 LA Times article written, and it says the storm forced cancellation of the Renaissance Fair in rural San Bernardino County, sending visitors to an open-air event. It seems like it was mostly mountains, but, the Catalina Channel got churned up. It was a very big storm all across.
The Renaissance Fair is interesting because in San Bernardino, if I'm picturing it right, where you do something like that is like right at the foothills before you start to climb the mountain to go up to Arrowhead. That got over a foot of snow. I believe that. But I'm thinking, like, when I hear Southern California, I think, like, the Hollywood sign is halfway filled up with snow.
Sure.
I don't
But cruise ships apparently were had huge storms and had really big waves that ruined it. So I think probably, yes, the 14 feet of snow was probably mountains right around there, but that there's a huge storm across.
All right, so it was today, that FX released the official trailer for Clipped. That is the docudrama about former LA Clipper owner Donald Sterling. It's coming up in June 4th on Hulu. Ed O'Neill plays Donald Sterling. Doc Rivers is played by Lawrence Fishburne Jr. And Alphonse Nicholson is Chris Paul.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this looks like. I mean, the trailer looks great. I know Ramona has worked really hard on this, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. But FX doesn't do bad stuff, so I'm really interested to see the take. And I listened to the Sterling Affairs, Ramona's podcast when it first came out, the series, and it's so layered, it's so interesting. And I love what FX does. These kind of like random-ish American stories that we become fascinated by. They wait like 10, 15 years, and then they do it again.
Well, I think there's certain stories we might be exhausted of, certain stories we've heard of, certain stories that you've had a lot of different networks already cover or documentaries on them. This one is very interesting.
It's
because
really just Ramona's and then the reporting at the time.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is that even, it was such a odd moment in what is the NBA going to do? What is Adam Silver going to do? How are they going to deal with the situation? I'm excited to see this. I really am.
In Los Angeles.
Yep.
There's an element
to a franchise that everyone agreed that was the worst owner in sports, period.
Here's the challenge, and this is why I'm optimistic.
Okay.
I know what Doc Rivers looks like. I know what Don Sterling looks like. I know what Chris Paul looks like. The main players in this story are very familiar to basketball fans, are very familiar to sports fans in Los Angeles. And if it doesn't look right and act right, then it's like, you can't suspend your belief that it's going. But to your point, FX does this really well. Like the OJ thing that they put together, not Made in America. Maybe it was called the Made in America.
It was it's The People versus OJ Simpson.
People versus OJ Simpson. Everything looked kind of right. Like, oddly enough, like David Schwimmer looked like Bob Kardashian.
And even if they don't look exactly right, it's good actors.
It's good actors pulling it off. And you got John Travolta as Bob Shapiro. And you're like, if you said, that's never going to work, it worked. Completely worked.
Yep. They did the same thing, the same kind of treatment in American Crime Story with the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton.
Yes.
And while the people didn't look like side by side exactly this, they got Sarah Paulson, they got Beanie Feldstein, they got really good
Sarah
actors.
Paulson looked a lot like Marcia Clark. And when you do the perm and everything.
People versus O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in like real life.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it looked fantastic.
But I think that it's a story that if it's something like, I don't know, Showtime where, you can see that these people got cast right. So we'll see. I'm really excited to see it.
Tim Duncan is celebrating his 48th birthday today. Is he not the best player that we never talk about? Because think about it. Like it is spooky how similar his career numbers are to Kobe Bryant's. They're virtually identical.
Yep.
And when we always talk about Jordan, we're going to talk about LeBron, you're going to talk about Kareem, you're going to talk about Wilt and Bill Russell, and all of those guys, Magic Johnson, right, Larry Bird. We never mention Tim Duncan's name when you start ripping. Now, when you stop and think about it, you throw him in there. But he's the greatest player that never. And it's personality. It's won 5 titles, played for the same team 20 years. Like, his career is bananas.
100%, and I think every sport's got them. Tim Duncan is that for the NBA. Now, I guess I'd ask you this. Nikola Jokic is about to win his 3rd MVP. When that happens, what will be interesting is, does Jokic end up kind of in a similar path where and maybe Jokic is just he'll break so many records and do so many different things because as an individual player as well.
Do you know off the top of your head, I'm sorry to interrupt you, how many MVPs did Duncan win?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because Jokic is
Finals MVP or
no
regular
MVP.
season?
Give me both while you're looking at it. But I think that's why Jokic is a little different. Like Kobe, oddly,
because he's already at 3.
Yeah, he's going to get his 3rd here in any minute, and it feels like it's going to keep going. Like, that is super rarefied.
But it's style too. It's he's boring. You know who
right,
makes me think of this.
Sorry, here's Tim's. He's a 2-time MVP of the league in regular season, and it says he's a 3-time Finals MVP.
Okay, so Jokic is about to be 3-2.
But that resume too would make
crazy.
you think, yeah, of course you talk about him all the time. But this is something Shaq always says, which he's doing this right now. Shaq, one of the greatest big men to ever play the game, won't stop talking about how great Jokic is, which is, I think, unique, right? Like, you got one of the greatest to ever do it won't stop talking about Jokic. I don't know, and it's because he's currently playing. There isn't noise like that for Tim Duncan, and that's specifically because of where we're at right now, because he's actually still currently one's still current player, the other one is not.
Outstanding. So, as promised, we have a special guest that fresh off of putting together one of the best rounds of the day so far. Maya Stark is joining us right now. She is currently 1 shot off the lead at the JM Eagle LA Championship presented by Plus Pro. All she did today was go out there and drop a 65 on the field. So, Maya, congratulations on a great first round.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so how was it out there today? We've seen a lot of people come through. You're the first player we've gotten a chance to talk to. What did it look like?
Gosh, I haven't had a time to reflect on it yet. I feel like they've put the pins pretty nicely, especially compared to last week. But yeah, I don't know. Ask someone else.
Well, they must have been in pretty good spots if you went out there and you shot a first round 65. What about coming to LA? Obviously you guys go to all the different cities across the country. You're playing in a lot of different places. Is it a little different coming to LA?
Yeah, it's always different when we play in a big city. It's like this in Mizzou. You have a little list of things to do when you're here, which is really fun because then it feels like the week goes by faster, and it's just fun to have other things to do.
What's on the list? What are you going to do?
We're going to go to I can't say it. It's a competitor to Nike.
Oh.
We're going to go to that store.
Got it.
Yes.
You're going to go shopping.
That's good info.
So we're going to go to that store.
Okay.
And what else? We might go to an Angel City game.
Oh, nice.
Okay, very nice. Maya, you mentioned you haven't even had time to reflect, and you obviously had such a great round. Is that sometimes a good thing where you feel like you're in such a zone and you're just out there and you're golfing and you're not paying attention to, or maybe this is not the case, but did you feel like today is just one of those days where you had so much success you're not even thinking about it? Is that when you're at your best, is when you're thinking about the goal?
Gosh. No, I was scared out there. So I think I was just like overthinking stuff, but then.
What were you scared of?
Like 5-footers for par, that's not very fun.
No, it's not.
So, like, having those, I have the same thoughts that I usually have when I'm playing bad too, but I feel like I'm handling it way better, and I just let the thought come, and then I say, okay, but we are doing this, and then just decide on what to do, and yeah.
Instead of fighting the thought. That's interesting.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maya Stark joining us here. She is 1 shot off the lead. 6 under 65 was her first round score. You mentioned it. So when I go and play golf and I've got a 5-footer for par, if I make the first one, okay. If I miss the first one, I'm convinced I'm never going to make another one the rest of my life. Does a professional have those same kind of thoughts?
Well, For sure, we get a little bit scared and we lose confidence. But I looked at my stats. I haven't missed a 5-footer for a week and a half. So
that's got to feel good.
That feels very good compared to oh gosh, my putting was a mess in the beginning of the year. So it just feels really great.
So when your mess is probably quite different than the average person's mess, I'm sure. But is it alignment? Is it where your head? Is it just you're just not feeling the club head? Like what? Take me through what a pro feels when I just not making any putts.
Well, I got my putter checked out,
okay,
and the loft and lie was way off.
AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
What's going on, boys?
Hey, there they are. We lost you for a minute. We thought, did Sliwa unplug something?
Yeah, there's a good chance.
Yeah.
I could have just stepped on. There's an extension cord right next to me.
Yeah,
plug all goes off the
you
air.
just that switch, everything happens.
Exactly.
No, we had it happen a couple times. We're here, JM Eagle LA Championship at the Wilshire Country Club. John, you ever golfed here?
Yes.
Of course he has.
He has. A few times. It's a very nice club.
And T-shirt, by the way, too.
I'm sure the women are tearing it up. No Nelly Korda, though, who is the talk of women's golf. She's won 5 tournaments in a row, and then she was supposed to be in this tournament, but she dropped out. So you guys are people starting to come in?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
starting to get packed, and they got you're right. They're talking. I think she's gonna play in 2 weeks.
Why would
John,
she not
they said
play?
that nobody's.
She's just burned out.
6.
Oh,
yeah.
Nobody's won 6 in a row. That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
She's gonna
I
have
mean
a
this
chance
is
in a couple weeks
this
to win
is
6 in a row.
Tiger-esque.
yeah. Tiger won 7 in a row 1 year. Or over 2 years. Crazy. So, Slee, what's been the highlight out there today?
The highlight was when I thought my media pass here I thought I was going to become a member.
Oh,
just
yeah.
strictly because I have a media pass.
Sure.
But they're
Yeah,
not,
that's standard.
They're not really allowing me in anywhere.
Now, are you going to
So
hang
that's
out
not
for
gonna
the
be
day and go see the women play?
No, we got a little pregame action coming a little bit later.
Oh,
so
that's
when I'm
right.
done
I
here,
forgot.
we'll
Sure.
work our way over.
Did
to,
Trav bail on
crypto.
you?
Trav's gone. That's it.
He
done. Left?
Yeah, Trav. You guys know this. It's like,
He doesn't believe in
about
Super
once a week.
Crosstalk. It's lunchtime.
Yeah, once.
He just said,
No.
"See ya, we're out of here."
Have you guys done something to him?
Not that I know of. No. I mean, I can't imagine how we would have offended Travis Rogers.
Maybe it was Michael.
Yeah.
No, I haven't compared him to any NBA players lately.
No, you have not. You have not.
Hey, you see any brothers out there?
Oh, yeah.
Or sisters in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah, a pretty good amount, actually, Michael.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
But,
lot of golf
are they
fans
the
in
Jeffersons moving on up?
Could be, Michael. I'll have to ask them.
Yeah.
Could be.
So
okay, I got
go ahead,
one
Slee.
quick question. This came up, and it's a very country club question, and I think all three of you
Well,
will,
we've got
will
John
be able to
Ireland
give me
here.
an
Yes,
answer.
I specialize in country clubs.
Me and a country
That's-
club
that's
don't
what I
go
was figuring.
together.
That's what I was figuring. So, John, when you're in a country club and you get a chance, you're going to go use the steam room, you're going to go shower, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
What's your towel situation? What do you
always have an extra towel? So you never go in because you need one around your waist and you need a towel to do what a towel does. But I'm not one of these guys that let's just say going commando around the locker room. That would be Mace. He would Mace puts pictures of himself naked in jacuzzis on Instagram.
I was never naked in the jacuzzi.
Wait
I
a
was
minute.
always
Not-
wearing something.
Not this time, but last time
never,
you were, right?
I've never been naked in a jacuzzi. I know
Is that
everybody,
Cappy?
Everybody loves that waterfall picture.
Yeah.
And
Weren't you naked in that?
No, I was wearing a bathing suit.
Nothing wrong with being naked and swimming.
Yeah, no, by the way, I'm with Michael, too. Yeah, it's
Let it
totally
all
fine.
hang out?
How did this subject come up for you, Slee?
Well, we were talking about the country club and how I kind of, not fairly here, put Travis in a position where I said, Trav, you take me as a guy that puts the one towel over your shoulder, but you don't have the towel around your waist.
Oh,
Because,
right.
John, as you know, there are a lot of people, I'm sure, at these country clubs where they don't really believe in the towel over the waist.
No, they're just
Am I
walking
missing something here?
around with it all hanging out.
Hey, I'm a member.
Yeah.
I don't need a lower towel.
Right. No, I always have the lower towel.
It's called the lower towel. We've officially named it. It's the lower towel.
Yeah.
Lower towel is more important than the upper towel. For some reason, guys just rock the upper towel, but no lower towel.
I would wrap the towel around me, but around my upper part of my body.
What
Just
good
around
does
your
that
chest.
do?
He just has it around the chest, but
Keeps
not
your
around
chest,
his waist.
Keeps your chest
There's
warm.
a very famous clip, I think it's still on YouTube, where the Dodgers in, I think it was the mid-'80s, made the playoffs, and Jim Hill's doing live shots in the locker room. And Pedro Guerrero is standing there with a towel over his shoulder, naked as can be, and the cameraman doesn't realize that his shot is too wide.
Oh, really?
So it's Jim just doing a normal interview, Pedro talking to him. I think Jim and Pedro both assumed
that was off camera.
It was a tight shot.
Yep.
And there it's just for all to see right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Slee, are you optimistic about tonight? That says it all right there. That enormous pause you could drive a truck through.
Tell me if you agree with this. The first 12 minutes kind of will tell we got a game or
Absolutely not. You
Lakers
could
going
not
the other
be
way?
more wrong.
No,
the Lakers
last
could be
15
up
minutes.
30 at the start of the fourth quarter, and I won't relax.
Yeah,
it's
no.
the exact
John,
opposite.
It's the end
John, but
of
this
the
is what I
game.
mean. John,
Slee,
this is what I mean by that.
you have it completely backwards.
Well, let me tell you what I mean by that. Denver hasn't got off to a good start.
Right.
Denver hasn't played. They
And-
haven't.
and
been
how
in a
much does
position
it
where-
matter?
And you want the same movie. Lakers start out good, Denver finishes
Slee,
strong.
if the Lakers are up 20 after 5 minutes, you seriously think that means the game is over?
No, I think the worry is that if Denver gets off to a good start and they're up double digits by the time the first quarter ends,
right?
Is this just basically
Could
this
be
gonna
lights
become
out.
a 20-point game at home?
Yeah.
No, I think the fourth quarter is all that matters in this game.
See,
actually.
if the Lakers are up 15 at the end of 3, I'm putting it in the fridge.
Well, you're an idiot,
Michael. You are ridiculous. Did you?
This
put
is the
one
best-
in
Michael,
the
you
fri-
better.
didn't he
Michael,
put
did
one
you
in
do
the-
a game 2 fridge? Did you do a game 2 fridge when they were up
I
20?
don't remember you doing that.
not
He
the last
did.
game.
You've done some really
Yes.
early
And
fridges.
the Lakers still end
You
up
are
with-
captain early
against
fridge.
against the
He
Pelicans.
very much is.
Against the Pelicans when they're up by 19, I put it in the fridge. And
Yep.
what happened?
They
The
came
Lakers
back. The Pelicans came back and tied it as soon as
What
he put it in
happened
the
is
fridge.
Zion got injured.
But
Yeah.
was I
Zion
wrong?
got injured.
Did the
That's what
Lakers
happened.
win? Snakes?
You were not wrong.
No, you were not wrong.
There you go.
I still don't believe it belonged in the fridge.
Yeah.
It went down to the wire.
Michael, you abuse your fridge privileges.
Yeah, I don't even know if we should let you have a fridge.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see. If he ever puts a game in a fridge that turns out that they lose,
Yeah. Yes.
then
Right.
then he's revoked.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the fridge in this
hasn't that
Denver
happened?
series.
It has happened in the past, but we gave him new life. I'm just saying that's what people say. Take Michael's fridge privileges away. He abuses the fridge, which is very true. But to your credit, even when the Lakers blow these leads, and they often do, they normally come back and win.
Right.
So until when Michael is wrong.
Has he ever gotten one wrong?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but.
Remind me of that. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Michael's
a
put
couple
games
of times.
in fridge during.
You
Michael's
put games in the
fridge.
fridge.
Right, I heard you put a game in the fridge in the second half, late in the second quarter.
Oh, yeah, I have. You can
Second
tell.
quarter, not second half.
I'm sorry, second quarter.
Oh, yeah, you can tell sometimes. All the teams checked out.
Michael, remember the game versus Memphis? I think it was second to the last game of the regular season.
That's right.
Memphis wasn't playing anybody. John, in the pregame show, he said the game's in the fridge.
He did.
There was a minute left.
And then it came down to the final minute. And his response is always, well, did they win?
Exactly.
Apparently.
That's right. Fridge, cooler, ice chest, whatever you want. I'll put it in all of those.
Yeah. What'd you do with Pepe? Where is he?
Yeah, where is Pepe?
He'll be along.
Okay.
Pepe stopped in here one day.
Yeah,
By himself?
Yeah, he stopped in here one day, played game of games.
I think he's bored when he's not doing
I
the
think
shows.
he is. He came in here the last
He was in
game
here earlier
day.
this week.
He was in there in here on
whatever day, Monday?
Yeah, Monday morning or Monday afternoon.
In case the Lakers prematurely get eliminated from the playoffs and we are on vacation, every Thursday me and Pepe will come in.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. But,
okay, that's good.
But that won't happen for another couple of months.
Yeah, no, in June.
In June.
We'll
right.
start that program in June.
After the parade.
Yeah.
After the parade.
After the parade.
I love it.
Mace, what are your boys going to do at number 19?
Well,
I'm excited. I don't think they're staying at 19. I think they're either moving down or moving up.
No, there's a lot of momentum for moving up, and if they're moving up, who are they moving up for?
I originally thought
sure.
it was Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA, but now I heard Travis talking about it, and I think Trav might be right. If they're moving into the top 10, it's got to be for an offensive guy. They're not
in on offense.
Yeah, because McVay's an offensive guy. He's not.
Right. Although, can we just the Rams have the second most expensive offense in the league and the second cheapest defense in the league.
Right, but I think the way
doesn't that indicate they need help on defense?
No, I think they have the Mike D'Antoni attitude. You can't beat us if you don't outscore us.
So we don't care. Bad defense, let her ride.
Right. Well, we're just going to outscore you, no matter what, because we're going to move the ball and score points. And if you can keep up with us, great. If not, forget it. They're basically USC.
Right.
Well, if they move for an offense,
There's Pepe.
do you want Joe Alt? Do you want one of the receivers, or you want the best tight end?
I want Brock Bowers, the kid from Georgia.
Yeah, I would like Latu. I would like to see somebody on the defensive end. If they were to trade up Latu, if they were to sit where they are, somebody like Jared Verse, there are guys that are there that can get to the quarterback. I just think, especially on the heels of losing Aaron Donald, why would you not add somebody who can get into the opposing backfield?
You're using common sense. This is not with Sean McVay is, he's ever since his first defensive coordinator, which I think was Wade Phillips. Mm-hmm. Sean lets the defense handle itself.
Right, but you got to give them weapons. You've got to give them a stacked roster. I mean, the Rams.
When's the last time, other than Aaron Donald, they had a stacked roster defensively? You probably have to go back to that team with the
Jalen Ramsey. That whole
Marcus
group.
Peters.
Marcus Peters. That was a great
Eric
group.
Weddle
Von Miller came in at some. They've augmented the defense over time, and I just think at the end of the day they've got to. And boy, all the Bo Nix to the Rams stuff is out there too. You're not trading up to get Bo Nix. You could probably trade back to get Bo Nix.
Michael, do you believe this talk that there's going to be 6 quarterbacks in the first round tonight?
Yes, because quarterback is the most
6.
important. Yep.
I think that you got to go back to like
failing
83.
rate, by the way.
A lot of
I think it's higher than that.
A lot of Michael Penix to the Raiders talk out there today.
I love that. I hope the Raiders do get Michael Penix.
All right, guys, I'm at a country club, so I got to take off.
Okay, all right.
Go hit the showers.
Hit the showers.
2 towels, please.
2 towels. You need a bottom towel to go with the top towel.
It's brought to you by In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger's all about. Mason Island coming up.